Fan Mo is an ordinary high school student from China who experiences a challenging life due to his family's poor financial situation. His father works as a driver non-stop day and night to make ends meet, while he also has a disabled stepsister who is completely dependent on others for daily activities. One evening, when he falls asleep with a family heirloom round his neck, he is drawn into an enchanting world filled with magic and mythical creatures. Even in this exciting new world, the story of his life remains the same: poverty at home with a father who struggles to keep the lights on and a stepsister who always needs to be taken care of. During the Magic High School entrance exam, Fan Mo submitted his exam early, overwhelmed by his lack of magical knowledge after cramming 9 years worth of content into just 3 months. To become a magician, it is important to pass this test, which is the first step in unlocking one's magical abilities during the awakening ceremony. Meanwhile, his classmates buzz about their desired magical powers and hunt for Bai Mu, a candidate capable of inheriting the powerful ice magic from his prestigious family. Fan Mo walks over to his dad, who has been eagerly waiting for him outside the school. He asks him how the exam went, but Fan Mo is too ashamed to say anything. Understanding his silence, his dad tells him not to worry because he found him a well-paying job opening for a driver in a neighboring city. Not wanting to be a driver, Fan Mo begs his dad to give him another chance to become a midge that everybody respects. He refuses to stay a loser in this magical world. His dad senses his determination and tells him he will think of something if he is serious about it, and they both walk back home. The next day, he and his friend return from school together. The friend tells him Ningzu Mu had returned from the capital earlier that morning, and that she looks even more beautiful than before. Fan Mo brushes it off and doesn't give any response. He notices his dad talking to a snobby-looking man named Mr. Mu, whom he has been working for as a driver for years. He begs Mr. Mu to use his influence to get Fan Mo admitted to Magic Senior High as a favor. Mr. Mu scoffs at him, saying that not only did Mo Fan fail the exam, but he had also once tried to elope with his daughter, the heiress of the Mu family. His dad doesn't back down, saying that he will do anything in exchange for his son getting into the school. Mr. Mu agrees to help him if he pledges his house to him, and his dad agrees. Later that night, the dad tells Fan Mo that he got him admitted to the school by talking to one of his friends who is a director of Magic Senior High School. He also says that he will give the house up for rent because both he and his sister will be staying at the school full-time, and the dad is always out on his driving job anyway. Fan promises to be a powerful midge one day and make his family happy and wealthy. While doing his homework at night, he procrastinates just like you are while watching this video. Instead of studying hard to become a midge and help his family out, he recalls the time Ningzu Mu had requested him to take her away from her house. They had run away together, but didn't get far before being caught. After that, Mr. Mu, along with his gang, broke into his house to beat up Fan Mo and his father for attempting to elope with the heiress of the powerful family. He still clearly remembers how Mr. Mu threatened to break both his legs if he ever laid eyes on his daughter again. The day of the Magic Awakening event, when all the students awaken their magical talent and begin their paths to where becoming a midge finally arrives. Everyone receives a badge that will bear a specific symbol once their power awakens, along with 7 stars. Usually, the 7 stars are dark at the beginning, meaning the person is just a beginner. The stars start glowing one by one as the person becomes stronger. Having topped the exam, Bai Mu goes first and touches a crystal ball in front of the class to awaken his talent. As expected, he gets the ice talent like everyone in his family. Even one of his stars is glowing, showing he is already more skilled than the average beginner. Fan Mo goes last while everyone makes fun of him as he approaches the crystal ball. Nothing happens when he puts his hand over it, making everybody laugh. He tries once again with a renewed focus, and this time, a bright purple light beams out of the crystal ball. Everybody, even students from other classes, crowds around him without to see the purple light. Purple signifies the thunder element, the rarest and strongest element known to the world. Fan Mo enters a state of daze and remains standing with his hand on the ball for a long time. Not even the class has left when he regains his senses and notices that the ball has now turned glowing red. Fan Mo realizes that he has awakened not one, but 2 of the most powerful elements. But for some reason, his classmates don't remember seeing him get the thunder talent. He can't wait to prove his classmates wrong with his newfound talents. 2 months pass since the awakening, and their teacher explains how to complete the magic release. The objective is to master the 7 erratic stars swirling in everyone's spiritual cosmos by channeling concentration to align the stars into a steady orbit. Successfully stabilizing these celestial bodies bestows magical abilities upon the practitioner. Baimu leads the class, deftly controlling 5 stars already. Meanwhile, Fanmo lags significantly, managing only a single star linked to his fire talent. Post-class, he wanders about, brooding over his spiteful classmates. It irks him that no one recognizes his prowess in controlling 6 stars in his thunder talent. Yet, the elusive 7-star continually thwarts him, keeping his thunder powers just out of reach. As he meanders, he stumbles upon his younger sister, Xingxia, stranded on a swing in the park, her wheelchair stolen by local troublemakers. The leader likes her, but since he lacks the race to actually win her love, he thinks blackmailing her by taking her wheelchair until she agrees to be his girlfriend is a good idea. Infuriated, Fo Man confronts them to take her wheelchair back, but they put up a fight. Ready to fight for his sister's honor, he channels all of his will into aligning the stars of his thunder talent. He successfully unlocks his first thunder ability, Wrath of Thunder, and electrocutes the leader. After learning he is a midge, the others get terrified of him and run away. Once gone, he returns the wheelchair to Xingxia, and she tells him how proud she is that he can use magic. Back at home, Fan Mu practices aligning his fire stars in the bath because he desperately needs to pass the final exam. His father is taking a big risk by taking the driver job in the neighboring city because the surrounding cities have regular monster attacks. His father would be defenseless in such a scenario as he is just an ordinary, non-magic person. Xingxia asks him how he learned to use Wrath of Water so quickly. She suspects he joined Black Curia, a cult that helps people master their skills quicker. He reassures her that he was only able to do it because he practiced a lot privately. Once she leaves, he realizes that he can't show his thunder power to people just yet because it would raise such suspicions. The thunder talent will be his trump card while he practices hard to master his fire talent in time for the final exam. One day a new practical magic teacher comes into class and introduces herself. Yutang is a fire talent midge, and all the boys instantly fall for her looks and badass abilities. Fan Mo also gains newfound motivation after watching her demonstrate her fire burst trick. However, while Fan Mo spends all of his time working hard on honing his skills and showing gradual improvement in his classes, Bai Mu and Mr. Muzz scheme over ways to make him fail like cartoon villains. They're still salty over the elopement and want to ruin his life for the incident. Mr. Mu plans on sabotaging his final exam by using a dark stone. The dark stone, though it appears to be just a simple black pebble, possesses the unique ability to suck up magical energy from anything it contacts. Bai Mu, in collusion with a shady teacher, schemes to place the stone beneath the crystal ball during Fan's examination to siphon off the light it emits, ensuring a dismal performance indicative of a failing grade. As the exam looms a month away, the teacher outlines the assessment method. Students are to touch the crystal ball, which then lights up to reflect their magical prowess. The more powerful the student, the brighter the glow. Grades range from D to A, with D being a fail. Bai Mu, with a hint of disdain, queries whether they'll need to perform a magic release, mockingly calling it a nerdy move. The teacher clarifies that expecting students to master a magic release after just a year of study is unrealistic, and thus, it won't be required. However, if a student can pull it off, they get promoted to the elite class and are given a star bracelet, which enhances their abilities like an EXP boost. On the day of the final exam, Ningsu Mu comes to oversee the students' performance. Despite being the same age as them, she is a student at the prestigious Imperial College and is an expert at using the ace element. Bai Mu is hyped to prove his worth in front of her and at the same time, show how weak and incompetent Fan Mo is. Ningsu demonstrates her power to the school by touching the crystal ball, causing ice to spread from the ball down the podium and all the way to the ground near the students' feet. The poor crystal ball breaks down the middle. A new ball is placed on the podium, and the students are called one by one to the stage. Fan Mo's only friend, brown-haired Cao Hao, gets motivated to try harder. He is the first to attempt a magic release, but fails. His classmates move him off the stage, proving how this school has the worst people ever. Miss Tang pats him on the back and tells him it was a good try. Bai Mu goes next. The crystal ball glows super brightly with 2 halos around it. He gets an S grade, higher than the usual A. Noticing Ningsu in the audience, he also asks to perform the magic release. He successfully aligns all 7 of his stars and launches a line of creeping ice to freeze the target. He gets a good B grade for the magic release. His performance puts even more pressure on the next student, who just happens to be Fan Mo. The examiner and Mr. Mu share a cheeky smirk before he goes on stage and secretly places the dark stone under the crystal ball as planned. Fan gets on stage and places his hand on the ball. To his surprise, the ball releases the weakest orange light. He tries again and still fails. Mr. Mu uses this chance to tell Ning-su how incompetent he is, and how he has disgraced his family for not even managing to pass this exam. Ning-su remains silent as everyone else ridicules and makes fun of him. Fan doesn't stop trying, and eventually, the stone breaks after absorbing too much power. Upon Fan's touch, the crystal ball suddenly illuminates, casting a single halo around it, earning a maybe from the teacher. Miss Tang, who had been observing the entire episode, doubts the crystal ball's integrity and demands a re-evaluation for Fan, much to the student's surprise, who assumes she thinks Fan deserves an even lower mark. The teacher, anxious about a fair retest potentially causing Fan to fail, pleads with Miss Tang to reconsider. Yet, Ning-su steps forward, advocating strongly for a retest. Another crystal ball is quickly introduced, and as Fan lays his hand on it, it explodes into a spectacular red glow, radiating light around him and securing an S grade. Encouraged by his success, Fan requests to perform a magic release. Positioned before a target, he skillfully conjures a massive fireball that engulfs the target in flames, not only scoring Anna but also demonstrating his formidable potential. Witnessing this, Mr. Mu, sporting a notably better hairstyle and exuding more prestige than before, approaches Fan, invites him into the Mu family, and gives him a Firestar bracelet to further amplify his fiery abilities. To everybody's shock, Fan Mo not only turns him down but insults him and the family for belittling his father, treating him like a lapdog, and breaking into their house to beat up him and his father, causing his father to receive a back injury that never healed. Mr. Mu tries to retaliate by using his ice powers, but the principal intervenes by pointing out that no violence can take place within the school grounds. He asks Fan to apologize for disrespecting his elders, but Fan refuses. Mr. Mu threatens to have him expelled, but the principal retorts that he won't be expelled while he holds his position. Bai Mu challenges him to a duel to set things straight. Mr. Mu doubles down on the idea and declares the duel will be fought between Fan Mo and Angu, his adopted son, who is even stronger than Bai. Fan agrees and decides that if he loses, he will apologize to the Mu family, but if he wins, the Mu family has to apologize to his father. According to the Mage laws, duels are forbidden between underage mages, so they set up a date 2 years later to settle the fight once and for all. Ning-su smiles at Fan Mo before leaving with the rest. The next semester begins with Fan Mo at the top of the elite class. The teacher explains that 3-star bracelets will be given to the top 3 students in the class for 1 month. However, as punishment for insulting the Mu family, Fan will only have the bracelet for 10 days, after which it will be passed to the 4th student. Since the bracelets are limited and highly valuable, a student returning them late or damaging them will not only result in their expulsion, but also a ban from ever becoming a mage. Later that night, Fan stares at the bracelet while sitting alone in the dark. Every time he takes the bracelet out of his pocket, the mysterious pendant on his chain starts levitating. He puts the bracelet on when the pendant lifts up, unwinds, and the mouth of the fish opens up to eat the bracelet whole. Fan Mo frantically tries to get the precious bracelet back, and Miss Tang approaches him from the back and correctly guesses that he lost the bracelet. He explains what happened and shows her the pendant. Upon inspecting it, she realizes that it is a one-of-a-kind magic gear that feeds on other gears like the bracelet and spurts to increase its boosting power. This explains why he was able to unlock 2 elements, and how he was able to progress much faster than his peers. She advises him to keep the pendant a secret from others and grow it by feeding it other gears. She assures him she will take care of the lost bracelet matter and disappears. A few days later, the class goes on a field trip to Snowy Peak Outpost, a 24/7 heavily guarded place beyond which many man-eating monsters live. Fan goes there with his pendant clearly visible above his plain, white t-shirt. Smart. The instructor there assigns them a bounty hunt assignment. To cut them some slack for their inexperience, the whole class will be given Anna if at least 1 student completes it. However, if nobody completes the hunt, the whole class fails. The students decide they'd rather give up to avoid risking their life, but the instructor calls them out for their cowardice despite being part of the elite class in the best magic school. He says that the students who successfully hunt down a monster will be awarded with magic armor, a piece of magic gear that costs thousands. Fan, determined to get stronger for the duel, sets his sights on killing a monster. The class splits into different teams who explore the wilderness beyond the outpost, using their powers to get rid of any obstacles. Two teams, which include Bai Mu and Fan Mo, reach the cave that the instructor had ordered them to find. Their job is to inspect the cave to check if any one-eyed wolf demons are remaining there after they were wiped out by the outpost mages, and to look for a star bracelet that the instructor lost down there. While the others scout the large cave in groups, Fan gets fixated on the pond outside the cave. His friend asks him what he's thinking. Fan notes that the pond is only half full, even though it had just rained before they arrived at the outpost, with the previous waterline clearly visible, suggesting that some massive creature must have guzzled half the pond's water. His friend, alarmed by the observation, dashes off to warn the others. However, his warnings fall on skeptical ears, and they suggest he stay behind if he's too frightened to venture into the cave. Merely 10 seconds after they enter, they encounter a colossal wolf, which sends everyone into a frenzy of screams and disarray. Bai Mu attempts to wield his powers against the beast, but loses focus and narrowly escapes a bite. Meanwhile, another student with fire abilities tries to combat the wolf, but Fan Mo quickly intervenes, sweeping her to safety just as the wolf lunges forward. While all the students are losing their minds, the instructors and teachers watch them from atop a cliff. In reality, the wolf isn't a one-eyed wolf demon, but is simply one of the instructors' much less fierce pet archwolf. It is simply a test to see if the students can use their magic in real dire situations. Just when the lead instructor believes none of the students are up to the mark, they see a flash of blue light come from the cave. Bai Mu successfully uses his level 1 creeping ice ability to lock the wolf in its place. After seeing Bai succeed, the same female student breaks out of Fan's hold and runs back to the cave to fight the wolf as well. All of her level 1 fire burst does is melt the ice that Bai casts and set the wolf free completely unhurt. Another student with the thunder talent tries to save them, but it only stops the wolf for a couple of seconds. Realizing that level 1 magic has no effect on the wolf, Fan finally focuses and unlocks his level 2 fire ability, Cremation. It sets the wolf on fire, causing it to leap into the pond. The instructors and teachers are delighted to see a talented mage among the students, but the wonder realizes that he no longer has control over the archwolf. So far, the owner had it under his control so that it would not hurt the students. Now that it is completely free, they are in actual danger. The wolf first targets the girl, but Fan's brown-haired friend uses his wind powers to quickly take her away from the wolf's sight. Bai Mu tries to follow that with an attack, but the wolf jumps over him and tries to reach Fan. They all run deeper inside the cave, while the wolf follows them. One of the classmates suggests they should run away while the small group fights the wolf so that their deaths aren't wasted. Thankfully, the others refuse to leave behind their friends. At this point, the lead instructor charges into the scene with angel-like wings and asks where the wolf is. Fan and his friend flee from the wolf with the help of his wind powers, but the wolf ends up hurting a friend when he tries to protect Fan from an attack. Angered after seeing his friend get hurt, he faces the wolf head-on, this time with his thunder talon. The wolf slows down after being electrocuted when Fan notices a giant spike hanging over the wolf. He uses his level 2 fire powers to make the spike fall and pierce right through the wolf's body. Once the wolf collapses on the ground, a small white orb comes out of the wolf and gets absorbed by his pendant. Without hesitating, Fan rushes to assist his unconscious friend. Upon their arrival, the lead instructor is stunned to find the wolf lifeless. Fan clarifies that he harnessed his fire powers to manipulate a spike into fatally wounding the wolf, though the instructor remains dubious, puzzled by the archwolf's failure to evade with its notoriously sharp reflexes. Fan, brushing aside his astonishment, urges him to focus on aiding his injured friend. Together, Fan and the instructor begin making their way to the exit, carrying the friend on the instructor's back. They soon encounter the rest of the class and teachers, who had set out in search of them. The group is curious about the wolf's fate, learning it is deceased. Mistakenly, they presume the typically clumsy instructor was responsible for the kill, questioning why he would eliminate it when it posed no real danger to someone of his skill. The instructor quickly sets the record straight, explaining that it was Fan Mo who had taken down the wolf, not him, before they had even reunited in the cave. Everybody finds it hard to believe how a mere student can fight a monster to death, with some still suspecting the instructor had ended its life. The owner runs to his pet's corpse and starts crying while hugging it tightly. The wolf didn't deserve to die for this school test. Nevertheless, this is the event that makes all of his classmates recognize Fan Mo's strength. They finally praise him for his abilities and thank him for saving their lives. Miss Tang points out how if the wolf wasn't under control in the beginning, those who weren't able to use magic to protect themselves would have died. In real life, monsters are merciless beasts that kill indiscriminately, and they must learn to face their fear and fight them. The lead instructor announces that the students who manage to use magic against the wolf get special recognition for their courage, and the whole class gets enough for passing the test. Fan Mo gets an S grade in magic armor for being the one to kill the wolf. During the award ceremony, the head even invites Fan to join their institution in the future for a comfortable life. However, his mind has been busy figuring out how Fan actually managed to kill the wolf. He remembers noticing how the ground was scorched around and below the wolf's body, and how the wolf's face had strange black marks. His thoughts are interrupted by a guard who alerts him of bone wolf demon spottings in the west of their territory. He quickly gets into action and orders all the guards to find and kill the monsters. 2 months after the field trip, Fan Mo continues practicing his magic. After the wolf attack, he realized level 1 magic has no effect on monsters and that he needs to work on powering up. He had been spending all of his time practicing his fire talent so far to show his abilities to others, but he also needs to improve his fire talent to get it up to level 2 at least. If it hadn't been for the giant spike, he and his friend would have died in the cave. According to Ms. Tang, his pendant accelerates his progress by absorbing other gear, spirits, and monsters. If he is able to absorb more, he can upgrade his pendant to a spirit gear level, which can give him a 40% boost compared to the current 20%. Deciding to pursue a career as a bounty hunter to both fund his pendant and accumulate combat experience, Fan Mo dons a black mask the following day and enters the bounty hunter's hall. This venue is a hub for the latest bounties, displaying them alongside their monetary rewards, allowing bounty hunters to choose their targets. While there, Fan overhears a seasoned hunter dispensing advice to a novice mage on which assignments to accept. Eager to know if the esteemed monster hunter group is hiring, Fan approaches the man, who gestures towards a lengthy queue of hopefuls. The man suggests Fan save his energy and seek less demanding tasks, explaining that the monster hunters are notoriously picky, usually only accepting skilled mages. Despite this, Fan is determined to join, as battling monsters within the city would allow him to conveniently continue his classes. The man remarks that possessing the fire talent could significantly boost his chances of being accepted. He asks if it would be easy with thunder, and the man laughs, thinking he's joking. Since thunder is so rare of an ability, even a newbie can get into any group. With this information, Fan gets in line to apply for the opening at Monster Hunter. Everyone before him gets rejected, causing the captain to get frustrated over the inexperienced applicants who underestimate the skills required to be a part of the group. For Fan Mo's turn, the junior employees ask him about his qualifications and almost turn high away for not even being a certified hunter. However, he demonstrates his thunder talent to them, causing them and everyone in line to gape at the sight of an element they've never seen before. The captain bursts through the door and welcomes him into the Monster Hunter group, ignoring his inexperience and dismissing all the other interviewees. He starts introducing Fan to the main members, starting with the deputy, an ice mage named Tankai. Fan recognizes her as one of Ning's cousins and hopes that she doesn't recognize him. The rest of the introductions are interrupted by intel that a girls' junior high school is under attack by demons and that one student is missing. The captain asks Fan to go back home, but he asks to join them on their mission, to which the captain agrees. On their way, he keeps trying to call his sister because she's a student at the school under attack. He worries that his sister could be the one missing. Once they arrive, the captain delegates different duties to the members and instructs Fan to inspect the canteen. At the canteen, Fan gets jump-scared by his phone's ringtone. He answers it to hear his sister's voice. She explains that she forgot to take her phone during the emergency evacuation and is using a payphone to contact him. She says that although she is safe, she has sensed something lurking in the dorm. While evacuating, she spotted a girl walking in the opposite direction towards the canteen and was worried about her. He reassures her that he will look for her and ends the call. Right after hanging up, he makes eye contact with a huge one-eyed blue blob of a monster. It shoots a beam of explosive light toward him, but he is able to duck and dodge it, causing the window behind him to break and the surroundings to catch fire. This alerts the other members, and they quickly arrive at the scene. The water mage blocks another beam of light that will hit Fan with a wall of water. They urge Fan to pull back, allowing the specialists to handle the situation. The team deftly dodges the monster's energy beams, with the captain wielding his fire skills to direct flames after the demon. His powerful level 3 firestorm engulfs the creature, seemingly roasting it alive in a single blow. Believing the danger is over, the team eases up, but unexpectedly, the demon survives, snapping its eyes open. It lunges at the unsuspecting ice midge, Tang. The captain commands the water midge to intercept, but the demon breezes past her barrier, slashing her clothes. Reacting swiftly, Fan intervenes, using his thunder serpent power to incapacitate the demon before it can inflict more harm. Frustrated, the captain berates the water midge for her ineffective defense, pointedly dismissing her apologies, as in their line of work, an apology could mean the difference between life and death. He praises Fan for his amazing reflexes and promotes him as a full-time member for his good work. Later, Fan notices the red demon spirit as a yellow orb floats out of his body and gets absorbed in his pendant like the wolf's head, but realizes that nobody can else see it. The monster hunter's mission is not over yet. They still haven't found the missing girl yet. Some of the members only spotted a tunnel in the kitchen filled with the demon's footprints. They deduce there are more than just the one Cyclops rat demon they faced in Operation The Scale, which will need to be handled by the Association of Magic Societies. After having alerted them, the monster hunters leave the school. On their way back, one of the members who found Fan's phone on the canteen floor pointed out that he had many missed calls from the same number. Fan returns home to find his sister via payphone. She is so relieved to see him safe that she tries to get off her wheelchair. He comes to her and hugs her, reassuring her that her brother can now take care of monsters and has gotten rid of the one in her school with the help of his team. He recounts the story lightheartedly to make her feel comfortable and tells her that her highest priority should be to protect herself for his sake. Meanwhile, at the Giant Me residence, Angu, Fan's future duel opponent, has been leveling up quicker than his peers. He has already reached level 2 of his ice talent and should reach level 3 within a year, with which he will have the ability to freeze a huge area around him. Despite this, Ang is still dissatisfied with his progress because Ningxu is ahead of him. Mr. Mew tells him he should only be concerned with defeating Fan at the duel, an accomplishment which will earn him rewards from the Master. He then goes to the cooler Mr. Mew and asks him why he has to duel Fan, most since he is an unworthy opponent. Mr. Mew agrees with his sentiment, but says he had no choice because it is what the principal and Master wanted. As a bonus, he believes that winning the duel will be the first step towards Ainge controlling the city. That's not all. As another bonus, the Sacred Spring is at stake. The Sacred Spring is a place where only one person is chosen to train in each year, and all schools and big families hope to score the position. Demonstrating his overwhelming powers in the duel will make him a candidate for the spring. At the same time, the other Mr. Mew and Bai meet at a garden to scheme as well. Bai notes that the Master seems to favor Angel a lot and asks if he could be the next leader. Mr. Mew reveals that Ningxu is the designated heir to the Mew family fortune, suggesting that Ang is merely being exploited as a pawn to elevate Ningxu's ascent to supremacy. Meanwhile, over at the Monster Hunter's headquarters, Fan celebrates receiving his inaugural substantial paycheck. Now a full-time member, he's thrilled about the generous compensation for each mission, plus bonuses, allowing him to swiftly enhance his pendant's power. With his burgeoning monster hunting career taking off, his school attendance dwindles. On a rare day, he manages to attend class. Minjiao, the girl he rescued from the wolf, approaches him. She shyly asks if he'd considered dating her, and assuming she's smitten, he readily accepts. Expecting a typical date, like a movie or dinner, he's puzzled when the address she provides leads him to a deserted alley. When she arrives, she starts discussing regular tremors affecting the area. Confused, Fan inquires about the real reason for their meetup. She explains that her grandmother lives close by and has been disturbed by frequent nocturnal tremors. Concerned for her safety, she sought Fan's help to scout the area for potential monster activity. He agrees to help and feels pretty confident about handling the issue since he's already taken care of 7 to 8 monsters on the job now. He takes a small bag out and opens it to spill revealing powder, a magical powder that reveals traces left behind by monsters. He investigates the newly emerged footprints and deduces it must be hiding in plain sight. At that instant, a giant one-eyed wolf emerges from the ground with a snack in his mouth. They watch at the feet of a dead human, somebody who must have been homeless. It must have been lurking in the city for a while, hunting the homeless because they are less likely to be detected missing by the police. This wolf is twice as big as the one they had faced on the field trip. Minna is terrified and begs Fan to leave the place. He asks her to run away on her own, evacuate the block, and alert the police. However, Min says she isn't waiting and has the police on the dial. The wolf immediately tracks the sound of the dial and chases them. Like last time, Fan carries her away from it and sets the path behind him ablaze with his level 2 cremation ability to buy them some time. The wolf is super strong though and keeps following them without seeming to care about the fire. He tells her to leave again and let him deal with the wolf. She refuses to leave him since there's no way students like them can face this demon alone. Still, he pushes her away and practically forces her to flee from the area. Now alone with the wolf, he pulls out the magic armor he was awarded to build a force field of thunder but instead gets pushed back. Next, he tries to use his fire powers but is interrupted by the timely arrival of Tang Kai the Ice Mage, who happened to be in the area when Min was alerting the civilians to evacuate. She casts a strong ice spell to freeze the demon's legs in place. Without his black mask, she recognizes the boy on the ground as Mo Fan. The Wonder disgraces the Mu family and sternly tells him to leave. She contacts the captain to tell him that the wolf is probably a one-eyed wolf that has become mutated by absorbing the power leaked from the sacred spring. She requests Fan Mo, the masked monster hunter member with the same name as the Mu family's enemy, to arrive at the scene and sedate the demon with his thunder abilities. Surely the matching names are a coincidence. Not suspicious at all. Fan rushes in last with all the members already there waiting for him. They had built a dome of ice around the wolf by the time of his arrival. He uses his level 1 thunder power to sedate it. The captain decides that the best course of action is to wait until members of the Magical Society's Association show up to handle the situation, since using his fire powers may simply melt the ice dome and let the wolf loose in the city. The wolf eventually breaks out of the dome and starts evolving into a thorn-faced wolf, with spines growing out of its back. If it transforms completely, it will become way past the Monster Hunters Leagues. The captain urgently orders his team to eliminate the wolf before it can complete its evolution and unleash destruction on the city. Despite their best efforts to impede its transformation, the beast continues to evolve, effortlessly melting the surrounding ice. Faced with this escalating threat, the captain decides to escalate their tactics, unleashing his fire burst and firestorm spells in a full throttle assault. Unfortunately, his attacks do little more than melt the ice, inadvertently liberating the monster. As the wolf lunges at the hunters, the water mage swiftly conjures a robust water wall to intercept it, but it only momentarily hampers the wolf. Not deterred, the captain then employs his level 2 cremation power, while the earth mage summons pillars of rock to block the wolf's path. Yet, the wolf charges through the barriers as if they were mere Play-Doh. Another protective water wall materializes in front of the captain, but the wolf breaks through it, dousing the captain with a forceful wave of water. Ice doesn't have any effect on it either, and the wolf deflects the ice shields they conjure with its tough spines. One of the shards hit the captain, dealing severe damage to his arm. Fang uses his level 2 thunder ability to cast Thunderstorm, being particularly vulnerable to thunder. This is the first move that slightly hinders the wolf. It struggles to move past the thunderstorm while its evolution also slows down. While Fang keeps it at bay, a few hunters carry the captain to a safer distance. The party, knowing they have no chance of beating this monster, considers retreating while Fang holds it back as long as he can. Infuriated at the suggestion, the captain reminds them of their duties as monster hunters. If they hold their ground, at least they can keep the wolf in control until help comes, even if they lose their lives doing it. However, if they flee, thousands of innocent civilians will die. Despite his grave injuries, he stands up straight and helps Fang with his fire magic. Right at that moment, a flood of water appears out of nowhere and submerges the wolf. The mages are shocked to witness a mid-level water-powered tsunami in front of them. That well-dressed, long-haired man approaches Fang from the back and tells the monster hunters to stand back as he takes care of the beast. It then sprints toward the weakened wolf and summons the mid-level tornado skill. A tornado appears, sucks the wolf into its spinning vortex, takes it to a great height, and drops it to its death. The spirit of the dead, Thorn-Faced Wolf, gets absorbed by Fang's pendant. Turns out the man is Mr. Yang, an experienced and powerful member of the Association of Magical Societies. He and the hunters discuss whether they should sound the city alarm due to the recent high-volume emergence of monsters in the city. Mr. Yang thinks the alarm would only cause panic among the people and recommends increasing manpower for city patrol for the time being. After completing the mission, Fang takes a moment to examine his pendant, noticing it has grown heavier and larger since it absorbed the spirit of the wolf. As he scrutinizes it, the pendant begins to emit a bright blue glow, leading him to deduce that it has ascended to spirit level. This advancement promises even faster progress, and Fang feels optimistic about potentially reaching level 3, both his fire and thunder talents before his upcoming duel. Things appear to be looking up for him. In a warm gesture, the next time he sees his sister, he shares some of his earnings from his hunting ventures, enabling her to buy a new phone to replace the one she lost during the school monster attack. She shares that she's awakened the healing talent, a type of white magic. Usually, beginners can only awaken elemental magic like fire, thunder, water, etc. But her teacher said there are some exceptions. She says that she knows whatever he's doing to earn money is dangerous and offers to help him with her magic if he ever needs it. The next day, Fang goes to the principal's office to discuss the upcoming duel. It will take place on the day of Yang's coming-of-age ceremony, and the new family is making it a huge deal by inviting all the celebrities and big names to the ceremony. The intention is clear. They intend to make the duel the event's highlight and showcase Yang's abilities. The principal points out that this is only one of their motives. They also wish to secure Yang's place in the sacred spring that year. The school wishes to send their top student, Fang, to train there, since only a single mage is allowed to train there each year. Fang will have to defeat Yang to prove his worth for access to the spring. Even though they believe Yang has the upper hand in terms of magical and training resources, they ask Fang to give his best try at the duel to earn the school some recognition. He realizes that even his own school doesn't have much faith he will win. Still, he stays determined to win, restore his family's honor, and enter the sacred spring to become a mid-level mage. The day of the coming-of-age ceremony is fast approaching. Master Mu tells Ningzhu how he has put so much effort into Yang's development so that he can ultimately become Ningzhu's loyal assistant. She is destined to control even more than just this city. She asks him if the duel must take place publicly, to which the master replies that Fang has caused extreme shame to the Mu family and must be shamed publicly as well. She excuses herself and leaves the room. She approaches Fang sitting alone in a spot overlooking the Mu mansion, from where he can see the stage of the duel that will take place the next day. She advises him to skip the duel and run away from the city because Yang will show no mercy. Fang turns down the idea, explaining that her father is a bully who would relish in backing down. He wishes to honor his own father, who has worked all these years to raise him, and his sister without their mother, who abandoned them shortly after Xing's birth. He never complained, even after being beaten up and shamed by the Mu family for his son's mistake. He wants to prove to his dad that all he gave up for him to become a mage wasn't a waste, while also proving to the world that his dad isn't a fool. The long-awaited ceremony day dawns. Tang warmly welcomes the monster hunters to the mansion, but her demeanor shifts abruptly when Fang arrives, revealing his face without a mask. The hunters find themselves missing their teammate Mo Fan, who couldn't attend that day. As Fang walks into the mansion, his back somehow seems familiar to them. Tang recalls that they had briefly seen him at the wolf demon incident before she had instructed him to leave. While discussing, the hunters begin to draw more parallels between Fang and Mo Fan, though Tang asserts that Mo Fan possesses far greater talent. Meanwhile, Fang's classmates catch him heartily indulging in food before the duel, coming over to offer their support. Although he appears quite relaxed on his own, even his father has been invited to witness the duel. The event proceeds with Master Mu stepping onto the stage, raising a toast to Ang and his promising future as a leader in the city. Amidst the cheering, he announces the duel to the guests. Everybody gathers at the arena to spectate the much-awaited duel. Ang confidently strides toward Fang, armed with at least 3 kinds of magic gear. The two firmly shake hands, Ang casting a spell to freeze their hands, while Fang counters it with fire spell to melt it. Then they take up opposite positions in the arena, facing each other. Master Mu signals the duel to commence. Ang goes on the offense first by sending a sheet of ice using level 2 magic, which Fang promptly melts with fire burst. Fang retaliates with multiple level 2 cremation fireballs, which Ang dodges with swift speed thanks to the magical earth element shoes he has equipped. Ang surprises the crowd by unleashing the level 3 ability, Creeping Ice Storm, to rapidly freeze the whole arena ground. The ice storm is capable of freezing a one-eyed wolf to death in a matter of minutes. It seems to be a quick end to the duel, but Fang persists with a wall of fire to protect him from the cold. It is, however, snuffed out eventually. The principal insists on ending the duel at that point as the ice storm may kill Fang, but Master Mu prolongs it by saying the fire mage should be able to withstand for longer. Fang tries to unlock his level 3 firepower for the first time, but the sub-zero temperature makes it hard to concentrate, and he has always failed at focusing the fifth star into orbit. However, the desperation of saving his life allows him to align all 7 stars. He casts a powerful level 3 ignite spell, successfully keeping the ice at bay. He then launches attacks on Ang, who dodges them with his shoes. Fang decides to use a different weapon and unleashes his newly obtained level 3 Firestorm attack. The large-scale offensive spell hits Ang, causing him to hit the ground and injure his legs. The audience is in awe to see a beginner from a poor family take Ang down. Ang is not done though, and he gets up and removes his scorched cloak to reveal magic armor underneath. The head instructor from the Snowy Peak outpost, who is watching the duel, gets up from his seat and tells Fang to stop fighting. The magic armor Fang dons is fireproof, impressing the audience with his evident prowess. Ang, with a dismissive scoff, provokes Fang by suggesting he should concede, taunting that his poor father couldn't possibly afford resources to help him win. Refusing to endure another slight against his father, Fang stands firm, refusing to back down. In a dramatic turn, he unleashes his hidden ace, his Thunder Talon. The crowd, including a stunned Ang, is taken aback as they discover that Fang not only possesses this powerful element, but he has mastered 2 of the strongest elements, both at level 3. He unleashes a mighty thunder dragon that penetrates Ang's armor and shatters it to bits, ending the duel once and for all. The amazed audience cheers for Fang's victory while the Mew family bang their heads against the wall. Fang the hero is finally able to make his hardworking dad proud and proves to the world that he and his family are worthy of recognition and respect. In the previous video, we saw Fan Mo, an average high schooler, get transported into a world full of magic after gaining a family heirloom pendant. However, his life was still the same in this new world, with his dad struggling to pay the bills as a driver and a crippled sister to take care of. The city's most prestigious Mew family hated him as a family because Fan Mo had tried eloping with their daughter Ning Su when they were younger. All he hoped for was to become a successful mage in this new magical world and bring his family happiness. Despite being the underdog in class, he unlocked 2 of the strongest elements, fire and thunder, and worked hard to reach level 3 skills in both elements by practicing fire in school and thunder at his monster hunter job. His pendant also gave him a boost by increasing his progress by absorbing other magical gear. By keeping his thunder power a secret from most of the world, he was able to use it in his duel against Ang and defeat him, restoring honor to his family and forming a dent in the Mew family's reputation. After the duel, Fan goes up to Master Mu to demand an apology to his father to honor the terms of the duel. Surprisingly, Master Mu complies and gets down on his knee and apologizes to Fan's father for insulting and beating him the day Fan Mo had tried eloping with Ning Su. Fan Mo is awarded the right to accept training at the Sacred Spring, the most powerful magical site where only one young mage can be sent each year to train and boost their strength. After the duel, he and his class celebrate at a barbecue restaurant where everybody admires Fan Mo for possessing 2 talents. He shares that he will be going to the Sacred Spring next week to train for 7 days. The teacher praises him and wishes him well for his future. One day, Fan's friend Xaho and a black-haired girl from class named Hugh are hanging out while she rants about her inability to use the magic under stress. Hugh offers to give her some tips. They spot Fan Mo and his sister, Xingxia, on the street even though he is supposed to be at the Sacred Spring. Xao goes up to Fan to ask him why he's still here, to which Fan replies that he is buying his sister a gift for her 16th birthday. Xao offers to take her back home so that he can leave for the Sacred Spring. Fan Mo excuses himself and gets on his way, arriving at a tall skyscraper where Miss Tang and Master Mu are waiting for him. They get on an elevator, which takes them down to floor B15, and they lead him to a door. Behind the door is the Sacred Spring where he can train for a week. Before he enters, Ms. Tang hands him a star chart book, which he can use when he reaches star chart level to release spells. He runs into the captain, who tells him how shocked he was to find out that the Mo Fan and his Monster Hunter party was Fan Mo all along. Fan asks why he is here, to which he replies that he's come here to talk to the guard of the Sacred Spring, who happens to be the sister of the girl who went missing from the school during the Cyclops attack. He and the sister went to investigate the cave behind the cafeteria and found multiple Cyclops tracks and mysterious liquid, which they suspect to have come from the Sacred Spring. They are still trying to figure out what it means. The captain tells Fan Mo to just concentrate on his training so that he can become the second youngest nebulous mage after Ningxu Mu. Fan Mo abruptly leaves after hearing her name. The door to the Sacred Spring is heavily guarded and opens only to Fan, closing immediately after he enters. There is no way to go but forward on the narrow passage toward the central platform, with water around it as far as the eye can see. Fan can feel his power increase as soon as he sits at the center of the platform. Meanwhile, The missing girl's sister inquires about the liquid found in the caves. The lab technicians confirm that analysis reveals the liquid is similar to that found in the sacred spring, but has the opposite effect. It affects beings by filling them with hatred and bloodthirst, dubbing the liquid Spring of Rage. The presence of this liquid in the cave explains why the Cyclops, usually timid monsters that hide in the dark, are causing rampages in the city. Rain begins pouring over the entire region, including the Snowy Peak outpost. Patrol Squad 4 hasn't returned from their rounds, unsettling the commander. Suddenly, two bright red flares flash from the middle of the dense woods, signaling a code blue emergency. Panic erupts in the watchtower as Patrol Squad 4 relays a message to the commander that they are being attacked by a ferocious monster, the likes of which they've never seen before. Their two light mages were killed while sending the first two flares. Otherwise, they would have sent 4 flares to signal a code blood emergency, which means a catastrophe is occurring. The commander issues a code blood alert and dispatches his soldiers to face the threat. A line of fire mages shoot fire at the group of one-eyed wolves trying to infiltrate the fort, but the highest-level mage is killed by a huge white wolf with ice spikes on its back. A messenger informs the commander that monsters have been sighted within the city. Nobody knows how this is possible because the outpost is still handling the monsters in the mountains, making it impossible for them to reach the cities. The commander rallies his mages to go to the city and help the citizens evacuate into the safety zone by dividing them into 2 groups, one protecting the civilians while the other kills the monsters. Alarms blared in the city to alert civilians of monsters detected in the city. The teacher forces his students back into class while Miss Tang saves a child from a one-eyed wolf. She is shocked to see a Paralycus, a flying wolf monster, in the sky. The new family leaders, including Master Mu and Ningxu, rush out to fight. Ningxu takes down multiple one-eyed wolves with her strong ice powers. One of the wolves shoots a laser that hits Master Mu, causing him to collapse. Ningxu is forced to flee the scene on a flying pet beast to help her injured father, but she is worried for Fan Mo, who is inside the sacred spring and completely oblivious to the dangerous situation outside. Meanwhile, Fan Mo trains hard in the sacred spring to unlock the nebula level, but is failing so far. He recalls what Miss Tang taught him before coming to the spring. She explained that he needed to level up so that his spiritual space would grow to form a nebula of 49 stars. This would make him a nebula mage who can use star chart magic by aligning the 49 stars into 7 orbits of 7 stars each. Keeping that in mind, he studies the book of star charts that Miss Tang gave him to try and get better. However, he is interrupted by a giant tremor during an attempt to align the nebula. He decides to exit the spring to check out what's going on when he sees a guard getting attacked by a Cyclops monster. The guard who was talking to the captain earlier protects Fan Mo from the monster and escorts him back to the spring. She introduces herself as Yuxin, the deputy captain of the building. She touches one of the slabs near the platform, causing the entire spring to drain and a small vial to emerge from the slab. She explains that this is an emergency safety protocol and that the vial contains all the water from Sacred Spring. They go down a flight of stairs that leads them to an ancient tunnel at the bottom of the spring, which serves as an alternate exit. While walking through the tunnel, Yuxin explains that the Black Curia, a cult of dark mages, have created Spring of Rage liquid which they have infused into the rainwater, causing the monsters to go rampant and attack the city. The exit leads to a hill slope from where they can see a giant Paralycus atop a skyscraper in the city. The civilians in the city run for their lives as thousands of monsters attack them. The group of delinquents that previously tried forcing Xingxia into becoming their leader's girlfriend may have a bloody end at the hands of one-eyed wolves. Xingxia is also chased by one but is saved at the last moment by a man who pulls her into a building. The people inside it closed the doors to protect themselves from the monster, but the man knows the doors aren't enough to keep the monsters away for long. After seeing the dire situation in the city, Fan Mo decides to go look for his father and Xingxia. Yuxin requests him to take the Sacred Spring vial with him, saying that the Black Curia will target her since she is the deputy captain of the spring. They cannot afford to lose the vial to them, so Fan Mo should keep it as he would not be one of the targets. He refuses, saying he doesn't care about the Sacred Spring and wishes to take care of his family. Frustrated, Yuxin asks him if he thinks the guards who lost their lives while protecting him in the Sacred Spring had no family. Yuxin, too, had a sister that she lost to a Cyclops while she was on a mission, but she stuck to the mission until the end, knowing that she was a mage who must protect the people. Understanding, Fan Mo accepts the vial and gives her a photograph of his family, asking her to protect them if she sees them in the city. Fan Mo's father was delivering goods to the outpost when the invasion began. Since then, he has been trying to return to the city in one piece. He runs into Mr. Mu, whose car shut down while he was driving his way to the safety zone. He gets into the father's car and tells him to go to the safety zone. The father refuses, saying he must first go downtown to look for Fan Mo since he is at the sacred spring there. Mr. Mu says that is foolish to do since the sacred spring building was the first to get attacked and everyone there is surely already dead. The dad persists and tells Mu to either get out or go downtown with him. He has no choice but to go. Even the magic school students are having a hard time, with most students getting turned into a snack for Cyclops. Min, the fire mage classmate, gets chased by one of the wolves, which she tries killing with a raging fire spell. It seems to work for a second, but the monster gets back up and almost bites her head off, but Fan Mo saves her by casting a powerful ice spell. He gives her a baseball bat to defend herself in case she gets too stressed to use magic at some point. He is surprisingly calm in this situation and tells them to follow him. He saves another student by freezing one of the Cyclops with conjuring ice. Sayoyo and the Hugh seem to be having their own romance subplot, hiding from the monsters in the hallway. However, they get surrounded by two Cyclops monsters on both sides. Sayoyo carries her in his arms and teleports them to a higher floor using his wind powers. However, he gets attacked by a one-eyed wolf that stamps him to the ground. He tells her to run away and leave him, but she doesn't have the heart to. Right when it looks like their love story will meet a tragic end, a huge thunderbolt strikes the wolf and sends it flying. Fan Mo finally makes his heroic appearance at the school. He uses his thunder serpent on him, but the wolf still doesn't die. Sayoyo uses his wind magic to lower its defenses and Fan Mo finishes the job by using raging fire to burn it to a crisp. He then takes them to the stadium, where the rest of the surviving students are. Things at the stadium aren't good either, with Bai Mu showing more leadership than some of the teachers who suggest abandoning the students to save themselves. Luckily, the other teachers shut down the idea and decided on another plan. They need to get everyone in the safety barrier in the city. First, a small pioneer team formed of talented students will scout the way ahead and find a route with fewer monsters, while the larger Exodus team will follow their lead to avoid being attacked. The teachers ask students to volunteer for the pioneer team, but no one seems eager to risk their lives with such a dangerous task. Min, the other Thunder student, and Bai Mu boldly step forward for the task. At this point, Fan Mo, Sayoyo, and you arrive at the stadium. Fan Mo deduces that it is even more dangerous to be in the Exodus team because most of the students in it are weak and not brave enough to use magic in stressful situations, so there is no strength in their numbers. Additionally, the larger group will attract more monsters, making them more vulnerable to attacks. Their survival will be more likely in the Pioneer team. Hence Fan Mo, Sayoyo and the girl volunteer to be on the Pioneer team. Everybody is overjoyed and relieved to see their strongest classmate, Fan Mo, still alive. Meanwhile, the Sacred Spring deputy captain, Yexin, has been holding her own this entire time alone. However, she is almost out of stamina when being chased by a black beast. She casts a spell, but it misses, and the beast leaps toward her. It would have been game over for her, but she is saved by the timely arrival of Mr. Yang, who assaults the beast with a giant stream of water. Yaxin thanks him for saving her life, and they start discussing Black Curia's motives. They believe the cult's main objective is to obtain the Sacred Springs water, which they will use to lure the monster commanders into attacking the city. Yaxin tells him that she gave the vial to Fan Mo because the Black Curia members would not suspect him of having it. Mr. Yang says she made the right call. Since he's only a star mage, it is unlikely that he will survive by himself. They split up to look for him. Ningju and Master Mu arrive at the safety barrier on the pet beast's back. Ningju requests medical help for her father and asks if any Sky Magical High School students have come to the barrier. The helpers say they haven't seen any students at the barrier yet, causing Ningju to worry for Fan Mo's safety. Order of the school. The Pioneer team, consisting of 9 students and a teacher, transforms into their magic gear to start their mission. Upon the teacher's instruction, they spread out and scout the area. Gaia has a spot for Cyclops monster gnawing a kid at a newsstand and alerting the others. However, it disappears once the teacher and Fan Mo arrive. The teacher tells the wind mages to use their speed to scout the area ahead and hunt it down while the other members tail him. One of the wind mages, Yileo, gets struck down from behind by the Cyclops. Her scream alerts the other students, who gather around her in panic. They attack the Cyclops monster, with the teacher landing the final blow with his blinding lightning power. Unfortunately, Yeleo died from the attack. The students take a moment to mourn her death. The teacher asks Fan Mo how he can be so calm and attack the monsters despite being a student. Fan Mo shares that he joined the Monster Hunters party when he was in sophomore year, giving him the experience he needed to face monsters. but he admits that he is still scared by the current situation. Hafea returns to report having seen 3 one-eyed wolves ahead, one at the fountain, one in the rock garden, and another in the woods. With his experience from his time at the Monster Hunters, Fan Mo formulates a plan. He tells Zhao to stall the wolf at the fountain by making it chase him in zigzag lines since the wolves are slower when running in different directions. He tells Bai Mu to stall the one in the woods by freezing it in place. The others, including Fan Mo, use that time to kill off the wolf in the rock garden and then progress to the wolves in the woods and fountains, dealing with them one at a time. Fan Mo reassures them that if they work together, their different talents can easily take down the monsters and that they will realize the monsters aren't so scary. The students get motivated by his words and agree to his plan. Zhao goes to the fountain and recalls his plan while watching the wolf from behind. The wolf detects him and immediately starts sprinting toward him, almost slashing Zhao apart with its long black claws. He uses his wind powers to run away in a zigzag line, which seems to work at first. However, the wolf uses the trees to bound forward more quickly and eventually catches up to him, slashing his shoulder. He tries to run away on his own 2 legs, but is too slow and gets slashed across the back. Panicking, he uses his wind magic to whiz into a gazebo and hides there. The wolf soon starts approaching the gazebo, but Zhao collects his thoughts and waits until the wolf lunges to flee at the last moment with the 3rd level of Wind Magic's Fleeting Shadow ability. This causes the wolf to get injured by the rubble falling over it. Slowing it down, Azio runs toward the end of the park, where there is a stack of large iron beams against the wall. The wolf follows him till he is cornered near the wall, and it pierces his black claws into Azio. However, thanks to the Fleeting Shadow ability, the wolf actually attacked Zhao's projection, causing the wolf to pass his claws through thin air, lose his balance and fall into the stacks of iron beams that pierce right through its body and kill it. Relieved, Azio realizes the one-eyed wolves aren't as scary as he thought. Meanwhile, Bai Mu tries to freeze the one-eyed wolf in the woods, but knows his ice powers are too weak to keep the monster frozen for long. His friend, who accompanied him, suggests running away and directly heading toward the safety barrier, but Bai Mu calls him foolish for thinking they could make it without the help of the others. Bai Mu manages to freeze it completely for the time being, and they run toward the rock garden to inform the others of the situation. Over at the rock garden, Fan Mo and the other Thunder Talent students do the one-eyed wolf with their combined powers, but they know it isn't enough to kill it. Azio arrives there, but cannot stand due to his injuries, causing everyone to worry. At the same time, Bai Mu and his friends emerge from the woods with their wolf closely following them. Fan Mo directs a fire attack toward it and follows it with thunderstorm and multiple other fire spells, burning the wolf to a crisp. 2 wolves down, 1 to go. With the united efforts of the Pioneer team, the 3rd wolf is also defeated. Everybody thanks Fan Mo for his leadership, but being a good leader, Fan Mo credits the entire team's work. If it wasn't for Bai Mu having frozen the wolf in the woods before, it would have been much stronger and Fan wouldn't have been able to kill it so easily. He urges them to remember that the key skill for mages is teamwork. He tells Bai Mu to use his strong, creeping ice ability to protect the team rather than using it as an attack move to freeze enemies. He asks Siyu to work with the teacher to protect the team, but she thinks she can't do so because she gets too stressed to use magic when faced with a monster. The teacher tries to comfort her when Azio uses his little strength to tell her to be more confident in her abilities before passing out. This makes the others notice his grave wounds, which won't stop bleeding. The teacher says that ordinary bandages and fire will not stop the bleeding. What he needs is a hemostatic agent, which they can obtain from the nearby pharmacy. Fan Mo volunteers to retrieve it, but Azio tries to stop him, saying it is not worth wasting time to save him. Fan Mo holds his friend's hand and points out that the team wouldn't be able to do anything without the valuable scouting that Wind Mages provide. He promises to return with the hemostatic agents soon. Far away from the city, Fan Mo's father races toward the safety barrier with Mr. Mu and Dao. However, one of the tires gets punctured by the worst of luck, causing the car to stop. The father frantically tries to change the tire, receiving no help from Mr. Mu. He gets frustrated and begs Mu to help but sees the passenger seat empty. Yuxin is still looking for Fan Mo when she runs into instructor Yang Bai from the outpost, who has come to the sea with his archwolf. He tells her that he is tasked with finding and protecting a student from Sky Magic High School. Guessing he must be referring to Fan Mo, she decides to hand the task to him completely and spend the rest of her time trying to attract the Black Curia toward her for the sacred spring. Meanwhile, The other Pioneer team members continue looking for a route toward the safety barrier, with Asia being carried by one of the students. One of the Earth mages uses his wave detection skill to scan the area for monsters. He reports that there aren't any monsters nearby, making the streets safe for passage. While walking through it, the team finds the complete silence suspicious, wondering how a city rampaged by monsters can have an area completely deserted. Baimu shushes them and looks ahead through the edge of a wall. They are petrified to see a thorn-faced wolf, a warrior-level monster. Baimu explains that there are 3 levels of monsters, with the lowest being slave, followed by warrior and finally, the terrifying commander level. The Cyclops and one-eyed wolves they have faced so far belong to the slave level, but a warrior-level monster is way beyond their leagues. Fan Mo desperately searches the area for a pharmacy determined not to let his friend die. He recalls their time together at school when Asia Hao shared his dream of attending a good university in a bigger city. He enters an abandoned pharmacy, but cannot find the hemostatic agent anywhere. While roaming the store, he notices a hole in the floor and inspects it to find a Cyclops monster devouring corpse. It shoots a laser beam from its eye, which Fan Mo dodges. The force causes a few medicines to fall from above. Luckily, one of them is the hemostatic agent he needs. He grabs it before the Cyclops jumps out of the hole and tries attacking him. The Cyclops jumps out of the store and prepares to attack him again, but is grabbed by the much bigger warrior-level foreign-faced wolf, who tosses it into its mouth and swallows it in one gulp. Fan Mo escapes by getting into a sewage pit and reunites with the rest of the team through the drains. He gives the hemostatic agent to the teacher, who applies it to Aishao's wounds, causing them to heal instantly. Meanwhile, the Exodus team has started their journey through the path cleared by the Pioneer team. They come across Eula's dead body on the street. They finally appreciate the huge risk the Pioneer team is taking to help them reach the protective barrier. They decide to carry Eula's body to the barrier for a proper send-off. The Pioneer team manages to make it close enough to see the walls of the safety barrier. All they need to do is cross the moat in front. There, they run into instructor Yang Bai and his archer wolf. He tells Fan Mo that he has been looking for him, and that he should hand over the sacred spring vial to him for better protection. Sensing something wrong, Fan Mo backs away and says he will hand the vial directly to the commander, Kang Zan himself. Yang Bai reveals his true colors, intending to kill Fan Mo to obtain the vial. He asks Fan Mo one final time to hand over the vial, and by doing so, he will spare their lives. This confirms that Yang Bai is a part of the Black Curia, meaning the sacred spring cannot get into his hands at any cost. Fan Mo refuses to give the vial, saying he had killed one of his archwolves before and can do it again. Yang Bai snaps his fingers to summon 3 black beasts from the ground. They pounce at him at once, causing Fan Mo to tell the others to fall back. During the little time that he turns back, the archwolf tramples him to the ground. One of the black beasts attacks Ashio, but it is when magic doesn't work. At the last moment, a small water shield protects him from the blow. Ashio makes the horrifying discovery that Hugh made the water shield at the cost of getting stabbed by one of the beasts. All this focus diverts to her, and one of the thunder mages protects him from the beasts with a thunderstorm. The students work together to take the 3 black beasts down while Ashio rushes to Hyu's aid. Hugh says she is glad to have finally used her powers to protect someone. Asia Hao yells at her for endangering herself, but she uses her last breath to tell him she did so because he is very important to her. After that, her eyes shut, falling on Asiao's arms. At the outpost, Kang Jiang receives word that one of the members of Patrol Squad 4 survived the initial attack. The survivor alleges that the light mage that sent the flares was killed before sending the 3rd by a pet archwolf. With this information, the commander suspects the only member in the outpost who owns an archwolf, Instructor Yang Bai. Over at the inner side of the barrier, the protective barrier guards inform Master Mu of the current situation while a nurse bandages his wounds. Refugees are flooding into the barrier all at once, causing much chaos. Ningzhu overhears the guards talking about a large group of Sky Magic high school students approaching the barrier. Hopeful that Fan Mo is still alive, she tries to leave the barrier to help him. However, Master Mu forbids her from doing so and orders the guards to ensure that she does not leave without his permission. Fan Mo, still trapped under the Archwolf's claws, watches as more and more of his friends become casualties. He uses both his fire and thunder powers to fling the Archwolf across and free himself. Yang Bai says that no matter how much he tries, his friends will die if he doesn't give the sacred spring to him. Fan Mo pulls out the vial containing the sacred spring, but instead of giving it to the instructor, opens it and drinks it. The energy from the spring upgrades Fan Mo to a much higher level, with which he strikes the Archwolf down with a powerful thunder spell. He, Mina and Bai Mu work together to kill one of the black beasts. However, the Archwolf recovers and throws Min across. While the students fight the monsters, the teacher lays low and crawls toward Yang Bai from a cliff above. He plans to kill Yang Bai because if he dies, his pets will also disappear. He uses his blinding radiance magic to stun him, while Fan Mo sends a fire and thunder combined attack. However, Yang Bai manages to evade it because he has planted one of his black beasts under the ground in front of him to absorb attacks. Bai Mu charges toward Yang Bai with a black ice sword, successfully landing a lethal blow on him and causing the beast to disappear. Hayu's death brings a cloud of gloom over the team as Tang Yu cries over her body. Multiple outpost guards, including Mr. Yang, arrive at the scene to see their colleague Yang Bai dead. They prepare to attack the students who killed him, but Fan Mo explains that Yang Bai was a black Carrier member who attacked them first. He presents the black puddles left behind by the beast as evidence. Mr. Yang orders some of the investigators to bring samples of the puddles and Yang Bai's body back to the protective barrier, while the rest escort the students safely to the barrier. There is no point in sorting the matter outside, where other monsters can attack them. Hence, the Pioneer team finally makes it into the protective barrier after losing 2 members. They send word to the Exodus team who celebrate their achievement and start moving quicker toward the barrier. Meanwhile, a group of outpost guards scans the area around the sacred spring building atop which the Terralicus is. The whole perimeter is surrounded by one-eyed wolves and thorn-faced wolves, making it nearly impossible for them to reach the building, let alone kill the Terralicus. They wonder how the one-eyed wolves and other monsters arrived in the city even when they were guarding the mountain. The only possible answer they can think of is that the Black Carrier used space magic, which is most difficult to master. The group is about to retreat when the Terralicus detects them and sends a death ray that incinerates them all. Inside the barrier, the Pioneer team observes the horrible condition of the surviving refugees, most of whom are gravely injured. Fan Mo goes to represent the team in a meeting with the outpost investigators who wish to discuss the subject of Yang Bai's death. The Atadi report reveals signs of decaying black beasts in his heart, confirming that he was a spy for Black Carrier. Kong Zun apologizes to Fan Mo for the death of his teammates at the hands of the traitor, Yang Bai. He asks him how he suspected Yang Bai before anyone from the outpost did. Fan Mo answers that he didn't suspect him, but was simply being alert. When he refuses to hand over the vial immediately, Yang Bai shows his true colors. Kong Zun praises his smart thinking and asks for the vial. However, Fan Mo says he can't because he drank it, causing Kong Zun to snap and tackle him. After calming down, he realizes it is best that the sacred spring no longer exists and that their most important objective is to defeat the commander-level Terralicus. Kong Zun assesses his odds and realizes he only has a 50% chance of killing the monster if they fight one-on-one, and the probability decreases to 10% if he has to fight the Terralicus, along with the surrounding wolves. Despite this, he rallies his men and motivates them to fight to their deaths to protect the city's people. They storm out of the barrier with their winged beasts to face the Terralicus. Fan Mo remains on the roof to see them leave. Ningzhu, who also comes up to the roof, is overjoyed to see him and hugs him. Master Mu accuses him of abandoning the other students to escape to the barrier. Frustrated at this grown adult constantly targeting him, he retorts that Master Mu himself ran into the barrier despite having the power and influence to help people. Ningzhu butts in and tells Fan Mo not to criticize her father. Fan Mo gets pissed off and leaves. Meanwhile, Fan Mo's father finally arrives in the city area to see all the people that are still remaining or the dead ones. After mistaking a corpse for his son, he is chased by a giant monster and is backed into a corner. As a non-magic user, he is completely helpless against it. Thankfully, he is saved by Yuxin, who unleashes a storm of water on the monster. Recognizing him from the photograph Fan Mo had given her, she asks him if he is his father, but he loses consciousness. Yuxin looks up and realizes there are even more monsters she has to face. Fan Mo enters the military investigation room to find out his father, and Xingxia entered the barrier. Officer Chang receives intel from patrol that the monsters are entering Bao City through underground tunnels. If they don't find the openings of these tunnels and destroy them, monsters will keep pouring in. Fan Mo recalls his missions with the monster hunters and shares that there were hints of these tunnels when the Cyclops invaded his school and kidnapped one of the students. Cyclops are expert diggers, so locating their past attacks should reveal the underground tunnels they made. Fan Mo contacts the monster hunters to look through the records of all their missions and pinpoint the locations of past Cyclops attacks. Turns out that the most common sightings of Cyclops occur at Epigraph Girls Junior High School, meaning the biggest entrance to the tunnels might be there. From this point on, the military joins forces with the monster hunters to search for the underground tunnels. Fan Mo exits the building and hears his father's voice. They hug each other, relieved to see the other alive. The father explains that Yuxin had saved his life and helped him reach the barrier. The monster hunters reveal that her dead body was found in the city, probably having died while trying to protect others like Fan Mo's dad. Xingxia is a student at Epigraph Junior High, and she can't move around much with her wheelchair. Nobody knows where she is, causing Fan Mo and his father to worry for her safety. The monster hunters and some military soldiers prepare to go to the school. Fan Mo begs to join their mission in hopes of finding his sister, promising not to interfere in their mission. Xingxia has been in hiding with a group of civilians in a basement. They begin to panic because if they don't make a move toward the protective barrier, they will eventually be hunted down by the monsters and killed. The man who saved Xingxia from a one-eyed wolf suggests using the underground tunnels to reach the barrier since no monsters should be in them. He knows the tunnels well since he has been a pipeline worker for years. Thinking this is a good idea, everybody starts rushing to the nearest underground pipe. However, an Epigraph schoolgirl in the group stays behind and asks them to help Xingxia come along. They all refuse to put their lives on the line for a crippled girl, and the pipes are too narrow to fit a wheelchair anyway. After they leave, the girl offers to carry Xingxia with her, but Xingxia insists she be left behind. As a last favor, she asks the girl to give her bracelet to a boy named Fan Mo when she reaches the protective barrier and to tell him that she's dead and that he should continue living in her stead. Once the girl leaves, Xingxia goes through the boxes in the basement and picks up a knife. The special team, consisting of a few military soldiers and the monster hunters, travels through the city using the monster hunter special car with an engine that prevents detection by monsters. However, part of the road toward the school is blocked. They decide to walk the rest of the way. The wind midge from the monster hunter scouts the area, successfully blowing away two Cyclops monsters that try to attack him with his level 3 floating shadow ability. Officer Chang uses the ice magic of Star Trek level to kill multiple Cyclops in one go. These guys are the real deal. While walking to the school, they hear screams coming from an alley. Fan Mo instinctively moves to help them, but Officer Chang orders him to stop, saying their mission is to find the underground tunnel in the school and destroy it, not saving people's lives. A man emerges from the sewers, all bloodied up, and collapses at the feet of the team. He and the others were the people from the basement. They use the underground tunnels in the sewer system to escape, thinking it is free of monsters, but the sewer is, in fact, the nest of the Cyclops. These people walked into their deaths. Fan Mo spots the corpse of a schoolgirl with the same bracelet he gifted to Xingxia on her 16th birthday, making him think it is Xingxia. He rushes toward the body and realizes it isn't his sister's, but confirms that the bracelet is Xingxia's. This would mean that this girl had met Xingxia before being attacked by the Cyclops in the sewers. Additionally, the man who died just now was wearing the uniform of the supermarket in the Epigraph Mall. These clues point toward Xingxia being somewhere in the mall. A special team wishes Fan Mo luck, and they part ways. After transforming into magical gear, Fan Mo makes his way toward the supermarket. Xingxia sneaks her way around the supermarket, trying to find a way out. One of the Cyclops detects her, but she abandons her wheelchair and stuffs herself into a refrigerator. The monster destroys her wheelchair, expecting to see a person, but leaves disappointed. Two hooded black Curia members, one with a big nose and the other in full armor, monitor the city-state from atop a roof. Since the military knows about the entrance to Epigraph Junior High School, they must be killed before they destroy the tunnel there. The two decide it is best to let most of the members die at the hands of the monsters and take care of the rest when they are weakened. They spot a bright light from a thunder attack in the distance. The one in full armor recognizes him and tells the other to stay back as he kills the Thunder Midge himself. You guessed it, the Thunder Midge was Fan Mo. He defeats the monster with a thunder attack, but gets ambushed by a shadowy figure. Fan Mo dodges it and enters the mall. The Arbor Man stands on a beam above him and praises him for dodging the figure. Fan Mo asks who he is. The man slowly removes his mask to reveal himself as Ang, the one Fan Mo defeated in the duel. Did you see that coming? He reveals that he dealt with Master Mu's bullying and abuse for 10 years in order to gain access to the sacred spring during his coming-of-age event. He was so close to achieving his goal, but Fan Mo disrupted all of his plans, and Angu failed to deliver on his mission for the Black Curia. They punished him for his failure by permanently scaring half of his face. If it weren't for Fan Mo, the city would have already been destroyed and Angu would have been promoted to a higher rank by now. After ranting his frustrations, Angu brings out a dark sphere from which he releases black puddles, each giving a ride to a black beast. Fan Mo runs away from the beast using both his elements. The Big Nose member calls Angu, informing him that the military has reached the school and that they must divert their attention there. Angu refuses to come at first, wishing to see Fan Mo's death with his own eyes. However, fearing another punishment, he leaves his pets behind to finish Fan Mo off. Fan Mo tries his best to avoid the beasts, but eventually gets surrounded. He locks himself into the CCTV surveillance room, where he sees a destroyed wheelchair on one of the screens. On the screen above, he spots Xingxia hiding in a refrigerator in the supermarket. Fan Mo recalls the captain teaching him that Cyclops have poor eyesight and mainly rely on their eyes to detect heat signatures. Hence, if you want to hide from them, the best solution is to use ice magic. Despite the stressful situation, Xingxia was smart enough to hide in the refrigerator to avoid being detected. The black beasts have been pounding against the door this entire time, causing the door to break open. Determined to save his sister, Fan Mo focuses hard to conjure a powerful spell. To his surprise, the pendant glows with the help of the sacred spring's energy and causes him to level up to Nebula. He aligns the 49 stars in his nebula to form a star chart by the time the beast ran the door down. His body gets surrounded by star chart fire, and he uses the notebook of star chart that Ms. Tang gave him to attack beasts with the star chart level fire. His spell. The other beasts try to run away, but he takes them down with single fire and thunder attacks. Meanwhile, Xingxia tries slowly crawling away from the Cyclops in the supermarket, but one of them detects her. She stabs his eye with the knife she carries before it can bite her. The other Cyclops monsters run toward her, but start feeding on the dead Cyclops body. She uses the opportunity to roll under a low shelf where they can't reach her. Fan Mo comes for a rescue, setting the monsters ablaze with his newly acquired fire powers. Xingxia comes out of her hiding spot, but goes out cold in his arms. Her body temperature reached deadly lows due to the long time she spent hiding in the fridge. Fan Mo warms her up with a fire circle around them, causing her to regain consciousness. He is overjoyed to see his sister alive and returns the bracelet to her. He carries her out of the supermarket in his arms and shares that he has reached the star chart level in his fire talent. The slave-level monsters seem to detect his power and avoid them. They should be fine as long as they stay away from warrior-level monsters. They sit on a bench and discuss the missing girl in her school. Xingxia believes the Cyclops didn't kidnap her on the day of the attack. She had seen her walk the same way that a mysterious person dressed in gray went. Fan Mo guesses that the person was a Black Curia member and that the girl discovered the hidden opening of the underground tunnel at the school, because of which she was killed. Fan Mo decides to drop Xingxia off to the safety barrier and then leave for the school to assist the special team. However, he feels giddy due to a wound he received while fighting the black beasts. Xingxia takes his arm and uses her healing magic to close his wound. Fan Mo praises her commendable healing skills and tells her to use her healing magic on the injured refugees inside the barrier. On their way, he asks her if she has ever seen strange holes in the school. She recalls there being a giant hole in the school's field on the day of the attack. She urges him to stay inside the barrier with her since he still isn't powerful enough to defeat strong monsters. However, Fan Mo cannot stand to do anything as the city they grew up in falls apart. He has always wanted to be a successful mage who brings honor and safety to his family, and so he must perform the duties of a mage during this dire time. Otherwise, he will regret his actions all his life. Noticing his determination, Xingxia decides to accompany him, saying she will also regret it if she isn't there to protect her brother now. Fan Mo speeds through the roads on a motorbike, and Xingxia realizes he is taking a route toward the protective barrier, not the school. Their path is blocked by a warrior level 4 and face wolf. Fan Mo takes a U-turn and tries to move in the other direction, but the wolf keeps following them. He drives the bike into a narrow alleyway and they hide under one of the buildings on the side, successfully causing the wolf to lose their trail. He admits he has no idea how to defeat a warrior-level monster. A special team arrives at the school and finds the opening of the underground tunnel in the field. Just as Xingxia said, Officer Chang uses his ice powers to save a girl who miraculously survived so far from a Cyclops monster. The monster hunter's water midge takes the girl to a safe spot while the rest try to destroy the opening by releasing their powers together. However, it has no effect and causes more monsters to emerge from the hole. At the same time, the big-nosed Black Curia member and a masked you appear, and he removes the mask and says that since the monster hunters treated him well in the past, he would let them live if they left the hole alone. All of them are taken by surprise when they realize Yu is a part of the Black Curia. They shame him for betraying the Mu family that treated him so well. This triggers him, and he attacks with his ice powers. The monster hunters immediately retaliate with their elements. Clearly outnumbered, the other Black Curia member runs away like a coward to try and save himself. Yu strikes him down with ice shards and releases black beasts on the special team. Meanwhile, the outpost instructors headed by Kong Xian approach the massive Turalicus. The commander-level Turalicus spots them and descends to the ground behind a small army of slave and warrior-level monsters. Commander-level monsters are intelligent beings, making them especially difficult to beat. It gives out a loud roar, which seems to control the lower-level monsters. They all charge toward the tiny group of soldiers. Kong Xian's team urges him to save his mana for the Turalicus since he is the only one to stand a chance against it while they take care of the mobs of monsters. Sure enough, the highly trained instructors take down the strong warrior level 4 and faced wolves and cleared the path for their leader. By the time Kong Xian comes face to face with the Turalicus, all of his loyal instructors have lost their lives. The Turalicus flies toward the top of the building again, and Kong Xian follows with the help of his wings. They fight a fierce battle, with the commander launching Zodiac-level fire magic skills to defeat the Turalicus. After seeing this attack, Fan Mo realizes this is the critical time to destroy the underground tunnels and goes straight to the school instead of the protective barrier. He uses his star chart level fire magic to defeat the foreign-faced wolf there and seal the opening of the underground tunnel in the school. Yu, who fled the scene once Fan Mo arrived, promises to destroy Fan Mo by destroying the city one day. Everybody at the protective barrier spectates Fan Mo's display of power with awe. Our hero wonders if all the trouble has finally ended. Fan Mo and his family move to Mingshu City, the capital of magic, to start a new life. On the bullet train there, he comes across a history professor from Mingshu University, the most prestigious university a mage can attend, who tells Fan Mo he doesn't have what it takes to get admission there. After getting roasted, he makes it his goal to join an organization to earn money for his family and get his second awakening to star chart, so that he can enter the university someday. Similarly, Xingxia will homeschool herself to prepare for the mage aptitude test next year. Once they arrive, they settle into a small apartment given by Mingshu City to Bao City refugees. Fan Mo practices aligning his nebula's 49 stars, but fails like always. He has a long way to go before he can master aligning them all and further arranging them into a star chart. Shortly after, he receives a call from his teacher, Miss Tang, who asks him to meet her in a town called Xishui. He makes the trip there, and they meet to discuss things over tea. Miss Tang reveals that she is a part of the Holy Court of the Association of Magical Societies, a law enforcement organization that arrests and punishes mages who break the law. The organization anticipated Black Curia's attack on Bao City but did not expect it to be so well coordinated. She failed in her attempt at arresting a Black Curia Hachette named Saling, a case among many others that the higher UPS have now taken up to ensure justice is served to Bao City. Presently, she has been sent by the Holy Court to investigate the sudden disappearance of all the water in Xishui town, and she suspects a mage named Zhao Hai the Butcher to be behind this. Sure, I'd suspect him too with that kind of name. Since her identity is known, she asks Fan Mo, a fresh face, to tell Zhao Hai who is moving around town with the most suspicious all-black fit. In return, she'll help him awaken his shadow talent after the job is done. With the promise of a new talent, Fan Mo happily accepts her request. The suspect makes his way upstream of the dried-up river that normally flows through the town with Fan Mo hot on his trail. Miss Tang accompanies him using the power of invisibility, a neat trick of the shadow talent. She hears a group of people closing in, grabs Fan Mo, and makes him hide behind a tree stump. They hear of this group of hunters led by a man named Zhang Pan talking about catching a fire spirit. Once they walk further ahead, Miss Tang explains that spirits are sentient embers of an element that give tremendous powers to those who possess it. Some people are born with spirits, making them naturally gifted mages like Ningxu Mu. Considering this drought has reached such an extreme stage in a matter of days, it must have been caused by a fire spirit, which this group is trying to hunt since spirits are sold for upward of 20 million. They eventually reach a dam, where they see the hunters leave being confronted by another group identifying as the Dongfeng family. But their main target, Zhao Yi, is nowhere to be seen. Jiang Dongfeng threatens Zhang Pan and his men to back off if they don't want to end up on the streets. But the hunters don't comply. A fight breaks out when the Dongfeng boys hit them with nebula-level fire spells, but the hunters lead counters with star chart defensive spells. Despite being overmatched technically, the Dongfeng unit persists and defeats the hunters Li, who runs away from the scene. However, before they can get back to work, they're faced with another challenger. Jiang also threatens him, but the man removes his cap to reveal a scar on his forehead. The guys immediately recognize him as Zhao Yi, and fear creeps onto their faces. He lets out an evil laugh while casting a spin web spell that conjures a giant spider from thin air. Realizing he is star chart level hex talent, the Dongfengs make a run for it, but get caught up in the spider's web. The spider subdues them by invading their mind, making it impossible for them to escape from their death inside tightly bound cocoons. Zhao Yi walks for a huge crack in the ground from which steam is coming out. When he gets close to it, bright purple flames erupt from the crack, revealing that it is a fuchsia fire spirit, which is even rarer and stronger than the usual red fire spirit. He laughs maniacally as he walks into the flames to try and absorb its power. Miss, Tang tells Fan Mo to stay back while she stops him. She casts star chart level shadow magic to summon a shadow spike and place him under arrest. Of course, he doesn't take it lying down. He surrounds them with a black dome and asks her if she's thirsty. Suddenly, Miss Tang is overcome with weakness, and her knees buckle down. He reveals that he laced the food she ate at the restaurant. He knows the Holy Court sent her to arrest him under the suspicion that he knows about the making of Black Curious Spring of Rage, which caused the disaster in Bao City. She quickly gathers her strength and gets back up, casting a super powerful Phoenix Blaze spell that should have burned him to ashes. However, he is able to survive the attack because of his magical armor, which takes the blow but gets destroyed in the process. He takes her down with his hex magic, which makes her lose consciousness. Seeing this, Fan Mo transforms into his cute mage costume and attacks Zhao Hai with his fire talent, but it's too weak to even land a scratch on him. Fan Mo tries to negotiate, saying he will let Zhao Hai take the fire spirit in return for Miss Tang's life and possession of Dongfeng's items. Thinking he's a bad guy, too, Zhao agrees to the deal. In reality, Fan Mo was just stalling for time until he could align a star chart with his thunder talent. When it's ready, Fan Mo hits Zhao Hai with a massive lightning bolt, which leaves behind only one of his rings as a trace of his existence. Miss Tang asks Fan Mo to refine the fire spirit before it disappears. She feels guilty for putting her student in so much danger, which he only got away from with luck. He walks into the flames like Zhao Yi did and feels pure power coursing through him. After absorbing the spirit, he helps Miss Tang return to town. Noticing the ring left behind by Zhao Hai, she frantically picks it up to give it to the higher court as evidence. On the cab ride back, she explains that the fire spirit he absorbed will give him resistance to fire magic unless cast by a fire spirit on a higher level than his own. He asks her about the ring, to which she answers that the High Court believes a rogue pharmacist made the spirit of rage. Zhao Hai, a suspected link, was supposed to be arrested for questioning, but now that he's dead, the ring is the only hope of giving them some leads. Later that night, Fan Mo returns to Mingshu City. Miss Tang drops him a message, thanking him for his help and following through on her promise to help awaken Shadow Talent. She books an appointment for his second awakening at the Association of Magic Societies. The association's base is a grand skyscraper located in Mingshu City. He is led to the awakening chamber by a receptionist. The guide for his second awakening is a cranky old man who looks down upon Fan Mo as a rich brat who thinks he's entitled to get the thunder talent. He commissary tells Fan Mo that there is no guarantee and that he will only get thunder talent if he is destined to. To his surprise, Fan Mo says he is interested in the shadow talent instead. The guide's assistant brings forth a crystal ball that's meant to increase his chance of getting the shadow talent, after which she and the guide leave the room. Fan Mo reaches his hands over the ball and focuses on his spiritual realm. The ball fills with darkness, signifying the successful awakening of shadow talent. The darkness is soon engulfed by a bright white light, but Fan Mo doesn't know what it means. The guide comes to check on him, and congratulates him for unlocking what he calls the summoning talent. Stoked about unlocking 2 more talents, Fan Mo thanks the guide and the assistant. The guide shades him again by saying those talents won't mean anything if he doesn't work hard, and he has a lot to catch up on considering his age. This confuses Fan Mo because he's only a high school student but brushes it off and leaves. A much older man comes after him for his awakening appointment. The guide assumes Guy is the star chart level midge that Miss Tang had sent for his second awakening, but the receptionist points out it was actually Fan Mo. The guide is left baffled, wondering how such a young guy could unlock 4 talents in total and reach the star chart. Fan Mo returns home to see his dear sister, Xingxia, peacefully meditating on her own. He thinks back to his promise of giving her wings to fly with if she's never able to use her legs again. That dream seems more possible now than ever because of his 4 talents. He hopes to get her some magical gear that acts as wings for her. With many things to look forward to, he trains vigorously and practices mastering his star chart for 6 months before the Mingshu University entrance exam. However, time flies and he fails his first attempt. He continues training and plans on giving it a second attempt. This time, he doesn't plan on telling the university about his different talents. A university as prestigious as Mingshu University possessing thunder talent isn't enough to make the cut. He wants to emphasize his summoning talent, which is at level 3, in the hopes that the university will make an exception and take him in. On the day of the entrance exam, he requests an interview instead of the standard practical test. The interview panel recognizes his value as a candidate with a summoning talent but is skeptical because he has never cast a summoning spell before, and there are more promising candidates and other talents, such as a particularly skilled Earth Mage at the star chart level. Fan Mo tries to convince them to consider him, and the interviewers give him a week to prepare for a test to demonstrate his ability to align the 7 stars in his summoning stardust. During that time, he enlists the help of Miss Tang, who coaches him through the process of a technique called dimensional summoning of beasts, in which his consciousness roams in another dimension to look for a nearby beast it can summon. The day of the test finally arrives and the same panel sits down to examine him. Lu Song, the star chart level Earth Mage, also attends the demonstration with his butler because he is annoyed over nobody with a summoning talent upstaging him. Just like he had practiced, Fan Mo concentrates his mind and transfers his consciousness to another dimension filled with beasts. Traversing the dimension is tough and requires a super strong will to summon a strong beast. In the distance, he hears a howl that belongs to a majestic blue archwolf with yellow patterns. He chooses the wolf and a heartbeat. He goes up to the hill where the archwolf is resting and sneaks up on it with a rope. He flings the noose end on its neck to try and capture it, but the wolf doesn't take this kindly and starts chasing him. The effort takes a huge toll on his mind, causing his body in the real world to collapse and start coughing up blood. One of the examiners advises him not to expend energy on taking the beast by force. Fan Mo discards the rope and sits down near the wolf. This doesn't seem to offend the wolf, and it lowers its guard. He meditates and forms a magic circle, which he slowly puts over the archwolf's head. He will have finished the summoning if he places the circle completely over the beast. Luckily, he is successful in doing so, and the wolf lets him pet its head. A red symbol appears on its head, marking it as his summoned beast. The archwolf appears in the real world next to Fan Mo, absolutely shocking the examiners, who weren't expecting much from him. Infuriated, Lu Song goes to fight the archwolf to prove that the beast is just a glorified pet. Lu puts up a good defense with his earth magic, but the wolf bypasses all of them, forcing him to run to safety. He pulls out his trump card, revealing he is a star chart level ice mage and chaining up the wolf with strong ice chains. He has no mercy and is about to kill the wolf when the examiners notice Fan Mo's eyes glowing purple. They run up to him and beg him to stop, but Fan Mo swears he will finish Lu off with Nebula Thunder if he hurts the wolf. Lu makes the smart decision to surrender and is promptly escorted out by his butler. The examiners accept Fan Mo as a student in the university's summoning department. Likewise, his sister Xingxi gets admission into an institution in Song City. On his first day of classes, he walks in to see only 7 students, all of them being guys. The teacher casually walks in and tells them that the summoning department doesn't teach anything as most conventional faculties do. The students are free to attend classes from other departments. The only pressing matter for the summoning students is the welcome party tradition, from which the best 2 students are awarded a vial of blood of brute, which enables one summoning beast to undergo metamorphosis. and gives a huge boost in its strength. Later that day, Fan Mo settles into his dorm room, which he shares with several other students. One is Manian Xiao, who is majoring in light talent, and another is Ping Wujiang. The two wish in luck for the welcome party because apparently, the tradition is that all the new students demonstrate their power by inflicting it on the summoning beast and the summoning talent students. So they call PETA. The demonstration goes both ways because it is also an opportunity for the summoning talented students to show their beast strength. On the day of the welcome party, Manian tells Fan Mo that the other 6 students in the department live in the same dorm and have been practicing with each other for a long time. For some reason, Fan Mo is the only one who wasn't invited. He doesn't care much because his archwolf is plenty strong and Wei. However, he suddenly feels a stabbing pain in his head and runs toward the forest in search of his wolf. He finds it in the midst of an intense fight with another summoning beast. The wolf wards the giant bird away, but not before it's badly wounded all over its body. Fan Mo transfers some of the pendant's magical energy to help it heal, but it is in no condition to stand a chance of winning the blood of Brood. All the students gather at the stadium bleachers and cheer as the summoning talent students enter the arena. Dafu Hai, who appears to be the department's favorite, volunteers to go first. A bunch of students choose to face his beasts and Dafu challenges them to try and take it down together. They confidently rise to the occasion, but seem to change their minds when a gargantuan skeleton of the scorpion-looking beast called White Armored Wings appears out of the ground. The monster chases them and flicks them away one by one. One of the teachers stabs in to protect the students from dying by trapping one of its claws under a boulder. The talented student climbs up the boulder and uses blinding radiance to blind the beast, but it only further aggravates it, causing it to break free and throw the student across the arena. White Armored Wings have poor eyesight to begin with. A Thunder Talent student tries to electrocute it, but the beast withstands the shock and proceeds to whip its sting toward the students. Like that, the beast withstands 3 rounds of challenges, but it's starting to lose its energy. In the 4th round, it gets overwhelmed by several attacks and perishes. One of the summoning talent students, Wang Li Tang, considers this a good thing because it means there are now 5 students in the running for Blood of Brood. One of the other students tries to shut down his bad attitude, but Wang tells him to go and fight if he's so cool. The guy is too scared to fight, so he asks Fan Mo to go next instead. But Fan Mo firmly denies his request because his beast is injured. Thus, the poor guy is forced into the arena. He trembles as he summons his beast, which turns out to be just a cute little pup. Everybody laughs at him as they tease the puppy. He returns to the group and apologizes for being weak. One of the other summoning talent students, the handsome and talented Zhang Bingxiu, comforts him and offers to go the next round. He confidently walks into the arena and summons a giant stone golem that towers over all the students. None of the talents have any effect on it for a long time, and it defeats 25 students before cracks eventually start showing on its body. Not wanting to risk the safety of his beast, Zhang surrenders from the competition. Next, the cocky student summons his bone-eating ghoul, a beast even more ferocious than the stone golem. He climbs onto its back and flies around the stadium, challenging students to face his summoning beast. Lu Song finds out that the summoning department has a quota to defeat at least 100 students, failing which their resources will be given to other departments. Intending to snatch all the resources for the Earth Department, Lu steps up to the challenge. The bone-eating ghoul soars directly toward him, but Lu makes a surprise attack with his ice talent and chains it up. The ghoul disappears as soon as it appears, leading the summoning students to panic and everyone else to gain confidence. All the remaining students flood into the arena to fight Fan Mo's beast because surely whatever summoning beast he is can't be stronger than the bone-eating ghoul. And that threat has already been defeated. The teacher tells Fan Mo not to go through with the challenge, but he feels a gust of wind on his face and realizes his art wolf has awoken. He boldly walks up to the students and summons the art wolf. It lets out a roar that forms wind current strong enough to topple the students. One of the students takes the lead and tells other students, each with a different talent, to surround the wolf. The wind talent student tries to use his speed to pin it down, while the level 3 water talent student protects him with a barrier. But the wolf's claws are strong enough to penetrate the shield and wound the wind student. It even gets away from a lightning bolt attack without a scratch. It retaliates by letting out a deafening roar that causes a thunderstorm and a tornado to form in the middle of the arena. The leader casts the earth spell, Wave Pling, to push the fire and thunder students away from the twister and fuse it. The water student can't use her magic anymore, so he protects them with a wall of vine. After that, Fan Mo tells his art wolf to stand back. He questions Chancellor Zhao over the fairness of the welcome party tradition. Why must they lose their resources if they don't meet the 100 defeated quota, but only stand to win back their resources by meeting the quota? The Chancellor laughs and reveals that there is a hidden condition to the quota. If a summoning department can withstand 200 students' magic, they will be granted all the training resources of the university for this semester. Upon hearing that, Fan Mo basically wages war against the entire school. His brazen confidence rubs people the wrong way, and many students jump at the opportunity to take him down. Unfortunately for them, the Archwolf is way too badass for them to beat. Finally, Lifeng Zuing, a kid from a powerful noble family, enters the arena. His wind attack is very strong, but it still isn't enough to defeat the wolf. It diverts its attention on the other students and nearly pounces on one of the fire talent mages, but is stopped by magical vines that grab its legs. Turns out Lifeng is also gifted in the body talent, but is nowhere strong enough to hold the Archwolf for long. This time, he goes for Fan Mo directly instead of the Archwolf, but Fan Mo knocks him out with a Thunder Talent spell. Everyone stares in disbelief when they realize that he not only has an intermediate level Archwolf, but is also a Thunder Mage. Fan Mo eggs them on so that they attack and then single-handedly takes them down with his Thunder Magic. Thanks to him, the summoning department defeats 150 mages in no time and is on track to defeating 200. Kang Fengbai, the youngest student in the university to achieve star chart level magic, watches the scene from the best seats. He decides it's finally time to step in and defend the honor of the Bai family, the greatest family in Mengshu City, at least according to him. Embarrassingly, he has to be protected from one of Fan Mo's thunder attacks before he can even cast a single spell. The teacher disqualifies him from participating and kicks him out of the arena when he refuses to listen. A hush falls over the stadium when 199 students have been defeated. Who will be his last opponent? Finally, a girl with long scarlet red hair walks up to him. She is Nujuma, the school's most popular mage. She uses the star chart level twister spell, which produces wind currents so strong that Fan Mo gets swept away. She climbs on the Archwolf's back and tells it to go where the wind isn't so strong, but Fan Mo falls off its back, and the wolf gets lifted by the twister. She shows mercy by not killing the Archwolf and asks Fan Mo to show his true powers. He tells the wolf to return to his dimension and rests and launches a lightning bolt attack that she dodges. She traps him inside with Body Talon's forest prison spell, causing everyone to cheer for her glorious victory. She opens a slit and tells him to concede defeat, but is surprised to see no one inside. He suddenly appears behind her and zaps her with the thunder element. She never anticipated him to have the shadow talent, and concedes defeat, having defeated 100 students. The Chancellor announces the end of the welcome competition and officially rewards all the university's training resources to the summoning department for the semester. The next day, Fan Mo walks into his dorm to see empty bunk beds. Mangian points out that his display of strength created many enemies. No one wants to sleep next to the person they consider a thief. Moreover, Nugio took responsibility for the whole competition and generously donated tons of resources to the student body to make up for the ones lost. Mangian explains that this is a very calculative move to win the students' favor for the noble Mu family, since it's common practice for such noble families to recruit as many talented mages as they can from universities. Pingu asks him how he escaped from Nugio's forest prison, but Fan Mo keeps his shadow talent a secret. A few days later, the Chancellor calls Fan Mo to the library and tries to get him to admit that he has the shadow talent. But after he refuses to disclose it, the Chancellor drops the matter and changes the subject to Fan Mo's rewards for his performance in the competition. He shows him a variety of high-quality, magical gear that he can choose from. He chooses the Boots of the Beast, a magical gear that gives him running abilities like the Flash. He also earns one chance to go train at the Three-Step Pagoda, a sacred magical ground like the Sacred Spring. The Chancellor advises him to save this rare chance for later, as going to his current level will reap minimum benefits. Finally, he gives Fan Mo a scholarship card amounting to 2 million yuan. He transfers most of the money to his dad's account, telling him to find a good house in the city and also to arrange a nanny for Zixia, who is living alone in Song City. Later that day, he tries to apply for a job in the city's Hunters League, but is far too unqualified for the position. He needs to be an elite hunter, but his experience with the monster hunters in Bao City only makes him a level 2 hunter or a novice hunter. In other words, the assistant at the front desk tips him off about a private hunter club where he will have a better chance at scoring a gig. He goes to the address for King Tian Hunter Club for an interview, but a little girl sitting outside the office's main door turns him away, saying he's too young. Sounds pretty rough coming from a 12-year-old girl. At the same time, a well-dressed lady who looks like she comes from money walks toward the building, hopeful for a new client. The kid changes her tune and graciously welcomes her inside. Fan Mo doesn't want his trip to come to waste and enters too. The little girl's grandfather attentively listens to the lady's troubles while she breaks down crying. She suspects her husband is a monster who kills people at night because she noticed blood splattered over his clothes while doing the laundry. Fan Mo gets hooked on her story and is eager to get her help, but the old man and the little girl turn her case away despite the wad of cash she offers them. Furious, the lady tells them it's their fault if anything happens to her family and storms off. Fan Mo questions why they didn't help the poor woman, to which the old man shows him a contract. The contract describes a similar situation and bears the same address as the woman's. The old man says this contract is with this lady's husband, but his story claims she's the midnight murderer. He hires Fan Mo and gives him the case. No matter who the actual murderer is, his primary duty is to protect the child. He is shocked to learn that the little girl, who will be his partner in this case, is a master hunter. The old man introduces himself as the president of the King Tian Hunter Club and says that Fan Mo should call him Old Bao. The little girl's name is Ling. The next day, Fan Mo arrives at their designated meeting spot to find Ling already waiting there. She shows him CCTV footage from cameras she somehow planted all over the culprit's house. Let's not think too hard about all the laws she's breaking. Ling thinks back to the time when the lady came to tell them about her husband. She claimed to have come immediately after finding the blood on his clothes, but she somehow had a full face of perfect makeup. The lady goes to take a shower, but Ling notices her leave behind what looks like a body-length skin costume. This confirms their suspicions that it's the woman who's the monster. Ling has a clue about the type of monster she is, and that type particularly likes their victims to be young women mages. Fan Mo quickly gets the information on the residents of the building and finds only 6 residents fitting that description. The closest one to the lady's house is an apartment rented out by 3 girls. He frantically knocks at their door and barges in to check on everyone. Everything seems to be ordinary until one of the girls gets thrown into the room they're in through a closed door. He tells the girl with him to stay silent and peeks through the doorframe to see the 3rd girl hanging on a chandelier, all bloodied up. The monster sits atop her and stares back at them with glowing red eyes. Fan Mo prepares to cast a fire spell, but the girl behind him faints, causing him to lose focus. The monster uses the opportunity to break through the window and escape. He uses his shattered shift ability to teleport outside the building and follows the monster. However, his chase is cut short by Ling, who calls him to tell him that the husband is also shedding his skin. She tells him to leave the lady monster for now and go to their apartment to protect the child, who will most definitely die once the husband completely sheds his skin. Fan Mo sneaks into the room with shattered shift and attacks the monster with roaring thunder. It doesn't have any effect on him, but at least it diverts his attention from the baby. Fan Mo grabs the baby, but realizes even the female monster has come. Fighting them both will be a difficult task, so he equips his boots of beasts and eats out of there with the child. The monster couple follows him, but he unleashes Fuxia Fiery Fist, which casts a firestorm twice as powerful as usual Nebula-level fire magic. He checks on the 3 girls, but they're not in their apartment. He guesses the uninjured girl took them to the hospital. He goes to the rooftop, where Ling is to see the male monster gravely injured, but now with human skin. Ling guesses the female monster used his body to protect herself from the fiery fist and escaped unhurt. She explains that the mana is a scaly beast, a type of monster parasite that lives inside a human body and drinks their host's blood. If the parasite is caught early, the host may recover. With that hope, they call the ambulance for help. His first case for the Hunter Club takes such a heavy toll on him that he sleeps for 2 days straight. After waking up, he unlocks the Nebula stage in his shadow talent as well. Later that day, he meets up with Ling, who tells him that the husband has offered to pay 1 million yuan if they can bring his wife back to normal. Luckily, Ling has special equipment that can track down any monster if you enter its blood data. Once it's sundown, a red dot should appear on the screen, showing the monster's location when it comes out to eat. To their surprise, Hundreds of red dots appear around the city at once, all approaching closer and closer to their location. Ling realizes that the parasitic monster must have somehow multiplied and spread throughout the city. Fan Mo thinks that the monster didn't attack the three girls to kill them, but instead make them its hosts too. All the monsters seem to be approaching the school, and most students are concentrated in the gymnasium because there's a concert. They try to stop students from entering, but nobody listens to them. Even more concerning is the fact that there are 6 dots inside the stadium. They decide to split up, with Fan Mo dealing with the infected in the gymnasium, while Ling calls the Hunters League and other authorities for reinforcements. She advises him to make a cut in the infected's thumb to allow the parasite to come out through the blood. However, in more severe cases, you will need to kill the parasite inside their bodies to allow the human host to recover. She hands him a Bluetooth device before he rushes into the crowded stadium. She alerts him that one of the monsters is right next to him, but he can't see any until he is ambushed by it from the top. He kills it easily with his fussy fire powers and peels the dead monster's skin off to reveal the human girl, who thankfully survives. After making sure she's alright, he rushes off to deal with the next one. Ling informs him that she has already contacted the Hunters League and advises him to leave the rest of them because this is way above their pay grade. But he insists on knowing the location of the next monster. He finds the next scaly beast preying on a girl inside the women's restrooms. He burns it and saves the human girl before it's too late. Ling tells him to make a slit in her thumb. When he does, a maggot-like creature falls out and dies. The girl's slit heals immediately since she's a healing mage. He asks her to heal the girl the monster attacked once she's recovered and leaves. Eventually, he is surrounded by scaly beasts from all sides. He dashes into a locker room with his boots of beasts and lures them in to attack them with fussy heavenly fire. After saving them all, he gets chased by another horde of monsters. At the same time, he gets a call from Manon, who just killed one of the monsters, and tells him to come inside the same room. He barely makes it before shutting the door behind him to block the 6 monsters chasing him. They discuss their plan of action against the monsters. Most of Fan Mo's magic is too powerful and could kill the girl hosts. Manon's girlfriend, who is also in the room, suggests he uses light magic like he did with the monster he killed because it seems they are vulnerable to light. Meanwhile, the Hunter's Leaf finally arrives outside the gymnasium and assesses the situation. After doing some digging, they found out that parasitic scaly beasts are not infectious, but for some reason, one of them has undergone some mutation that allowed it to spread into other hosts. The parasite with the original infectious mutation controls the other parasites as Scaly Queen. These scaly beast minions will give up their lives if they think they don't stand a chance and give their remaining energy to the Scaly Queen. In the process, the human host inside also dies. To make things worse, the Scaly Queen seems intelligent, unlike the other scaly beasts. Due to this, the Hunter's Leaf can't hastily rush into the scene. Soon, the monsters break into the room that Fan Mo and the others are in. Sure enough, Manon's light magic is very effective at purging the parasites and freeing the hosts. When too many monsters come in at once, his girlfriend freezes the entire room, causing the monsters to turn into popsicles, and he eliminates them with light. Suddenly, they hear a rumbling in the distance. Ling tells Fan Mo over the earpiece that the University and Hunters League have decided to shut everybody inside the gymnasium to quarantine them and prevent the infection from spreading in the city. Of course, this is a horrible plan because it would mean the death of over 5,000 students inside the gymnasium. The school authorities, especially, push for another course of action because they will be held responsible for the deaths of so many students. However, there's no way to enter without alerting the Scaly Beast and Queen, which would risk a mass death of the hosts. At this point, Ling rushes into the discussion and shares her belief that the Scaly Queen is also inside the gymnasium. Her hunch is that the Scaly Queen is in or near the stage lift on the 3rd floor because the scaly beasts around that area have unusual movements and aren't leaving the area to look for people to infect. However, the problem of entering the building without detection still remains. Finally, they decide to contact Fan Mo, who is already inside, to defeat the Scaly Queen. Of course, he is smart and demands an award from the school if he succeeds. Without a range 4, Fan Mo and Manon run up the stairs to reach the stage lift on the 3rd floor. Right before they reach, Fan Mo tells Manon not to push himself too hard since his light magic won't be as effective on the stronger monsters. He could leave the tougher ones for Fan Mo because it's not worth risking his life. Manon says he shouldn't worry and admits he doesn't intend to sacrifice his life and will run away if things don't look good. His only motive is to gain some fame from his heroics because he belongs to the noble Zhao family and fame is their most important currency. At least he's honest. On the other hand, Fan Mo doesn't care about fame. After all, he's already hated by most of the school because of his display of power in the welcome competition. He arranges a deal with Manon that if they succeed in this operation, Manon will get all the credit for it if he gives him a Soul Thunder Seed, a type of magical gear. He tries his luck to ask for a winged magic tool for his sister, but that stuff's too expensive. Manon advises him to take part in the Hunters game competition, which takes place every 4 years because winning it might be the only plausible way for him to get the wings. They reach the 3rd floor where Manon takes care of the first round of patrolling monsters while Fan Mo slips past with his shadow talent. He reaches the area of the stage lift, where the main star of the day is getting ready to make her grand entrance. She enters the stage lift with a mechanic to help her descend safely, but Fan Mo has a funny feeling about the mechanic and follows them with his shadow magic. With the concert still in full swing, thousands of students can be heard cheering for their favorite singer as the lift goes down the shaft. The mechanic reveals her true identity as the Skelly Queen, making the singer faint. The audience's cheering turns to screaming when the Skelly Beasts come on stage. Fan Mo emerges from his shadows and shows himself the Skelly Queen, who immediately climbs upward to keep some distance. He makes a bone shield around him, but she breaks it with just a few hits, indicating that she's grown much stronger than the last time. His fiery hiss spell also doesn't do much damage to her scales. He crawls toward the singer, asking her to stay low and asks the technicians to focus the lights on a single spot. After that, he hits the queen with more fire spells, but she continues chasing him and pins him down, landing a few deep scratches on his arms and chest. While trying to recover, the queen goes off to attack more students. The situation looks pretty dire considering his mana is almost out, and his defensive spells, with the exception of Shatter's Shift, are no good anymore. The queen comes back and surrounds him with her minions. Ling tells him to find a way to escape because the hunters have decided to barge in and end the infestation, even if it means losing the human hosts. This whole thing has gone out of control, and they can't risk further infections in the city. Fan Mo pleads for some more time because all these students don't deserve to die. When the hunter on the line doesn't agree, he just throws the Bluetooth away in protest. The hunters-led leader decides to grant him some more time because he also wants as many people to survive as possible. Fan Mo summons his best friend, the Archwolf. At the same time, the singer calls out to him and tells him she's focused all the lights. The wolf unleashes a sand volley to push the minions back. Any monster that comes near Fan Mo gets treated like his chew toy. He taunts the Scale Queen to come near him, backs away into the shadows, and disappears. He re-emerges behind the drum set, but when the queen lunges to attack him, her claws pass through nothing. That is merely a shadow projection when he's really behind her. He casts a combined star chart, Fuchsia fire attack that completely obliterates her. Never mind, I spoke too soon. She gets up and chases him at unbelievable speed despite being completely scorched. When she's just an inch away from gashing him, he pins her with a shadow nail and electrocutes her with a massive lightning bolt. That does the trick, and the Scale Queen finally perishes, revealing the innocent woman beneath the scales. The pendant on Fan Mo's neck starts glowing and levitating as it absorbs the Scale Queen's warrior-level spiritual essence. The hunters finally break into the gymnasium and hunt for the Scale Queen, but she's nowhere to be found. They see all the scale beasts on the floor and some of the girls struggling to get up after recovering. Realizing Fan Mo has somehow defeated the Skelly Queen, the hunter's leader directs them to attend to the injury and make sure all the girls are okay. Ling finds Fan Mo lying on the floor with many grave wounds. The healing mage he had saved very early on comes and treats his minor wounds, advising him to rest until someone comes to pick him up. Once she leaves, Manon comes to check on him. Fan Mo revisits their deal and tells him to take the credit in exchange for his promised Soul Thunder Seed. Manon enthusiastically runs off to get clout, leaving Ling confused. Why would Fan Mo pass up on getting recognition for such a big feat? He explains that his main motive isn't fame, but to improve his skills because he needs to win the hunter's game in 2 years and win the wing magic tool. Eventually, a medical team puts him on a stretcher and takes him to the hospital. Once the school settles down a bit after the incident, Nugio and her friends discuss the Skelly Queen's death. They all wonder how Manon, a light mage, was able to pull it off. One of the girls says she heard a rumor that Fan Mo is the one who actually did it. Those two are all that anybody talks about. But most don't want to believe Fan Mo, the resource-stealing thief, is the one who saved them. In their dorm, Fan Mo asks when he's going to get the Soul Thunder Seed. Monon explains that magical gears like the Sound Thunder Seed are limited in number, so he plans on buying it for him in the next auction. The auction piques Fan Mo's interest, and he asks if he can come along. On the auction day, they arrive in the large auditorium filled with the city's rich, esteemed mages. Fan Mo is lucky to be there despite having such a humble background. He intends on selling an item, too. The warrior-level spirit essence he obtained from the Skelly Queen. Monon is super impressed about this, claiming that the soul container that he's holding is the only vessel that can keep spirit essence, and it is a very rare and expensive item. Fan Mo simply got the container when he asked for the pendant to extract the spirit essence. It makes him wonder what exactly this pendant is and where it came from. Once they take their seats, an annoying voice speaks up behind Fan Mo. It's Sang Fing Bai, the snobbish rich heir of Bai family, who is very publicly embarrassed by Fan Mo at the welcome competition. He convincingly asks what Fan Mo is doing at the auction, but Fan stares at him blankly, unable to recall who he is. He storms away, taking another humiliating L in front of his friends. Monon successfully buys the Soul Thunder Seed for Fan Mo with a bid of 28 million yuan. With it, Fan Mo can make his thunder talent as strong as his Fascia spirit-infused fire talent. The next item is his demon-level spirit essence, which greatly excites the crowd. It's a high-ticket item that many bidders try to win, but in the end, Sang Fing Bai wins with a bid of 29 million yuan. He's super proud about this and goes out of his way to approach Fan Mo and tell him how he can never get his hands on such an item. Fan Mo just agrees with him to shut him up. The next item is Shield of Hell, a magical gear that not only blocks the attacks of warrior-level monsters, but also projects spikes that pierce the enemy. Now that he's got a lot of money from the spirit essence, he tries his hand at bidding. With the rest of his money, he rents a flat outside the campus so he can focus on training. Coincidentally, the house that he wishes to rent is the one that Nujio and her friend Tuju also have eyes on. Tuju recommends they split the rent with him, but Nujio is hesitant to live with someone she barely knows, especially because he is close to Manian from the Zhao family. Her friend convinces her to take it as an opportunity to lure him, a strong mage, into joining the Mu family instead. Fan Mo looks forward to a fun time with his new housemates, and at the university, he visits his sister Xingxia in Song City in the winter. She tells her how proud she is of his stellar performance at university. She shares her recent learnings of Bao City from her history classes. The city's origins can be traced back to the early 200s when the first residents were the sacred Springs Guardians sworn to protect the spring forever. However, their numbers decreased as time passed until they were completely a bygone race. She believes the truth of Black Curia's motives for the attack on Bao City can only be found inside ancient Gudu tomb, which has long been unexplored due to the high number of malicious spirits haunting it. All Fan Mo wants is to learn the cause of the destruction of his home city and crush Black Curia. For this, he has a long journey ahead of him.